Ooh. See what I'm saying? So, you know, you gotta fire this one up. So, you know, we put out a little call first of all. You know what I'm saying? I wanna say thank you to the live stream. You know, everybody out there because I was able to get in touch with I was able to get in touch with uh True Johnny. You know what I'm saying? So uh, you know, this whole thing kinda ended up being a lot of a lot of things wrapped up into one. Yeah, somebody's commenting right there on the last video. But yeah, this ended up being a couple of lessons wrapped up into one. You know what I'm saying? About a couple of different things, you know what I'm saying? One of which is, you know, doing the knowledge. How do I get this background? See, I start, I use this, I try to come back because the other, what is this? The other program was kind of complicated or something. I don't know how to get this to the full screen. We figure it out later. You know what I'm saying? But at any rate, yeah, we was able to get in touch with True Johnny. You know what I'm saying? And see, like I said, doing the knowledge is always key. So when I ended up building with the guy, right, what I found out was that he never intended to go on that channel. See, that's why you gotta do the knowledge. See, that's why I said, listen, you know, let me reach out to the guy. Remember I said, look, we don't even need to cover that. Let's build with the guy. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, building with the guy, I end up discovering that no, he never intended to go on that channel. That would in fact happen, right? Was that the dude uh Fahim, right? He recorded their conversation and then posted. So, you know, like I said, you know, the things that the guy said, you know, when I spoke to him, I let him know, you know, yeah, you know, you did a good job on the things that you said. I just was wondering, like, you know, why go on there? Like, what's gonna be the solution that you're gonna come to with this person? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you get into a conversation with this person, right, and let's say that you show and prove that you right, is it gonna make any change in that person's mind? You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, that is, you know, that. Now, look, I invited the guy on a live stream. I sent him the link. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, he could come on and clarify, you know, some other things if anybody has any other questions. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, ultimately, you know, like I said, you know, the lesson, you know, that I applied, right, is that I did the knowledge is that, yeah, see, if you just automatically got in your mind, right, the off 5% is a certain kind of way, then you would jump off the handle, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, addressing that situation. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, you know what I mean, being able to build. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's another lesson in there, right? Went how many people went to go look at the video, right? After I first made knowledge born. Like if you already saw it, that's one thing, right? But if you went to see it after I said that, see, he won. I'm talking about the Muslim guy, Cat. He won. If you went to see it, because see, that's what he wants to do. He wants to rage bait. See, he's dealing with the Luciferian signs. You see what I mean? Now, see, if you a young brother, right? I was there. See, when you young, you have that kind of energy. You got that type of time. You see, you get a little bit older and you realize that I don't have no time to be wasting with the Luciferians. You know what I'm saying? So, the guy pointed out that, he wasn't really, dealing with them on that tip. It was just that in the midst of some recent videos that he made some statements about Allah and about the nation, you know what I mean, that is, that needed to be addressed. You know what I mean? And so that was the reason of them having the private conversation. You know what I'm saying? That this guy ends up recording, right, and putting on, hold on, because I can't see the comments. That this guy ends up recording and then putting on the listening. You see what I mean? I probably missed a couple of y'all coming in, but we already wrote. You know what I'm saying? Don Bishop. Look, I didn't even look at the whole video. I just saw parts of it. You know what I mean? I saw parts of it, and some of the parts, like I said, the guy did, everything that he said, I agreed with. Right? There was a couple of points where I wish he had the earpiece. I wish we had, you know what I mean, like the presidential debate, where it was a couple of things that he said that I was like, yeah, nah, that's not true. There's a couple of things that he said where it's that's not true. You know what I'm saying? Like when he said that they have the same supreme mathematics that we have. Like when he brought that up, he was on the money. When he said, no, there was supreme mathematics that existed in the temple. Right? And then the brother said, but those are not supreme mathematics, right? Felix Almanzar, Jigga 1017, Calm Islamly, right? Those is not supreme mathematics, though, right? Those is, so then the brother was like, nah, it is, it's the same thing. No, it is not. See, they mathematics says wisdom, knowledge. Stop right there. That's not our mathematics. Full stop, right? That is none of the teachings of the law, right, can coincide with wisdom knowledge. None of the rest of this none of that can coincide. None of our teachings can rest on a foundation of wisdom knowledge. Shalom, what you said there? I stopped going to those channels that's not by us, for us, and I don't understand how individuals be going. See, look, and that's what I'm saying. See, let me type 1 in the box, right? If you follow any of these channels. We got a Robbie, my guy, Allah, right? See, I like how Johnny broke down the 16th degree to Fahim because he tried to say that the degree says Muslim son. He corrected him on that. I mean, I didn't see all of it. You know what I'm saying? The parts that I seen, you know what I'm saying, was, he did his thing. See, like I said now, in those, like I said, there were certain examples, like the example I'm pointing out, right? That they mathematics, right? When wisdom, knowledge, understanding, freedom, justice, equality, and Islam. So see, when he tried to say, look, that's 1 to 7. That's 1 to 7. That's not the same mathematics we got. See, there's some of the things that he says, right, that's ridiculous, right? There's some of the things about when, like if you did pay attention to it, right? And you heard where he said at some point that he believes, right? And see, this is another reason why you shouldn't go on them channels. Because they talking about belief. You can't argue with a person believes. So you can show and prove facts, but see, people beliefs and their feelings, you gotta just let them deal with it. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can say. You see what I mean? But he said that he believes that Allah came out to make this like a junior NOI division, right? That somehow he was trying to make us NOI, but that the firstborn changed it. The firstborn changed it because they didn't want to deal with the discipline of the mosque. There's some ridiculous things about that on his face. See, first of all, right, there's an individual, right, existing right now, Melchizedek, that was in the temple with Allah, and he comes to the rally now. See, why he never said that? Why do he acknowledge that this is something different? Why Justice never said nothing? Why Shaheed never said that? See, in order for this idea, there's just a whole bunch of things that had to happen, right? Like, see, first of all, we all have to be pussy. You know what I'm saying? Look, I looked at the statistics. It said I got 5% of women that what? Pardon me, y'all, but listen, this is real. We would have to be pussy. Because what you telling me, because you got to remember, people just hear about Allah now. In the 60s, people went to meet Allah for themselves. So you telling me that people went to meet Allah, Allah told them that they was Muslims, that he was trying to make them Muslim, but then somebody else came and said, nah, I'm switching it to what I say. Yo, Shalak, name me the person, right, that's powerful enough, right, that's powerful enough or have enough money, the person or a group of people to make everybody go along with that. You got to think, he's saying that they changed it, right? Whoever's these people that you're saying, they changed it. So they would have had to change it. In order for that to work, Allah would have had to have been around for a couple of months. Because by 1969, you got people all over New York City that have heard what Allah said for themselves. And so you seeing that some person or persons came and made everybody bow down to the way they were saying it. And that person is not Allah. That person is not the person that we revere now. That's what you're telling me. Bro, let me tell you something. That civil war would have broke out June 13, 1969. There wouldn't have been no war. Let me tell you something. The GDs and the BDs, the Bloods and the Crips, the Mafia, there wouldn't have been no war that would have ranked higher than the war that would have been between the 5% if some person or group of people had tried to change the Lord's teachings. Why is there where's the remnants of the people? Where's the remnants of the people that he was training to be Muslim? You see how silly some of this stuff is? You see how silly some of this stuff is if you really think about it? See, you can only think that if you don't know us, G. God, look at how much drama you seen over a couple of words now, G? Think about how many things, right? That whatever a person over here say something a little, God, what you think? That stuff is ridiculous. But let me not get too carried away with them. You see what I mean? Because then see, I'm talking about them. I mess around and get them in my algorithm. You know what I mean? But let's get to this point right here. Right? Let's start right here. Let's start here at the title, right? Debate or show and prove, right? See, let me tell you what I mean by that. See, even if I got an idea, I don't got to debate a nigga about nothing. See, debate is for people who ain't going to live it out. See, when you going to live something out, right, then it's either right or it's wrong. And the proof is right there in the pudding. See, I could have debated you and won the debate. See, like we can debate that there's no gravity, right? And I can say that there's no gravity and win that debate. But jump off the roof. Jump off the Empire State Building. See, now, no matter what you said in the debate, the show and prove is right there. So see, that's why we don't need to debate. We don't need to debate because look, this ain't year one for us. We've already shown and proven and been seen and heard. And see, that's what you gotta understand about these people, man. They exist. Listen, the Muslim guys, see, if we the only people that get hype over they exist. Don't nobody else even know they exist. That's why every window that they come through, like anytime you hear about them, any noise that they making, they either saying that they NOI or they saying that they us. They don't have an existence out, like they don't, they not a, they look. We got any of the California brothers, let's see, they're not factors. They're not factors outside. They only exist, the most impact that they have in the world, right, is as an irritation for us. That's it. They don't exist nowhere else. So see, you have to be aware. That's why I said, do you follow them? Because see, I don't do that. Like I'm saying, like in general, I don't listen to the radio. If I got my music that I play, my artists that I listen to or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? But just listening to the radio, you know what I mean? Because first of all, I don't want to hear what Charlemagne got to say. I don't want to hear what Ebro got to say. I don't want to hear the music that they playing. So what's the point of me listening to it just to see stuff that I don't want to see? See, I'm initiating death, hell, and destruction, right? Instead of dealing with the stuff I know is going to bring me love, peace, and happiness. So see, that's the thing. They the type of people that look, see, like I said, because of the nature of the internet, you do have to make knowledge born. But see, you got to be aware. See, this is also a lesson about, look, this is, if this is going to be the new way that we doing things, right? In terms of going on the internet, this is how you're going to be manifesting, this is how you're going to be getting your point across or whatever. You're going to have to pay attention to, look, see, like in my time, you know what I'm saying? See, got Shala in here, we got Arabi in here. See, we had to learn to navigate the concrete jungle, right? With this knowledge, and see, once we became righteous, we had to remain righteous, right? In that valley of death, hell, and destruction. See, this social media shit is a valley of death, hell, and destruction, where you gonna have to learn how to navigate through this motherfucker in order to come out right. So yeah, you gotta make knowledge born, right? Hold on, let me plug my plug in before we get cut. But actually, I got the way this is hooked up. I don't think we're gonna get cut. So where was we? See that battery thing right there threw me off. But you know, this YouTube and how you navigate it. You see what I'm saying? So see, like back in the times, right? We learned how to be in the cipher and how to be together. Like even when we was walking, right? Nobody can walk between us. If somebody went to the bathroom, motherfuckers was looking out, G. You know what I'm saying? Just the whole science of being in the cipher, right? The people on this side of the cipher is watching those people back. The people on that side of the cipher is watching these people back. If something happens to somebody on that side of the cipher, it's everybody on this side of the cipher's fault. And so, see, this is what I'm saying, is that coming on here, you're going to have to learn how to be in your cipher. You see what I'm saying? It's that, you know, look, you see now, look, like I said, the guy, right, he just didn't realize the level of poison. You know, he might have thought that the cats he was talking to was non-poisonous snakes. You see how they did what they did, how they record that. You see, automatically, look, type 1 in the box if that's the type of person you want to be around. Mind you, that's not the first. That's not the first person that told me he did that. King Singh told me he did it to him too. So see, this is what I'm saying. Even the people who you engaging with, see all of that. See, because look, here's the thing, right? Let's say you got high blood pressure, right? Why would you go get a cop? Like, what are you and the cop going to talk about, right? That's gonna solve your diabetes. What are you and the cop going to talk about that's going to solve your diabetes? You see, look, Wise Prince, I'm saying nothing. This is a thing, and look, you have to learn that being in the ciphers. You have to learn that back in the days when you go into, look, if y'all going to be on the internet manifesting this knowledge, y'all got to have thick skin. Y'all got to have thick skin. Y'all got to remember that, you know, the internet is the realm of 6. You see what I'm saying? And if you're in the realm of 7, you understand what I mean? Things on the internet and shit that niggas is talking, you can't let it affect you like that. See, only the truth can affect you. See what I'm saying? If a motherfucker put the truth on there, you understand what I'm saying? Because that's not originating from the internet. But just somebody talking shit, right, about their feelings, right? They got this to say about Allah and that to say about Allah, right? But they rocking out flags. See, first of all, you already did this, you know, he's a smart individual. But some of these things, when you really think about what he's saying, you know what I'm saying, and what he's dealing with is delusions. So now that's what I'm saying. You going, you know what I'm saying? You going and trying to come to an understanding with somebody that's delusional. So see, that's the bottom line of why we don't need to debate no people. Like what are they going to tell us? That 1 + 1 is not 2? That 2 + 2 is not 4? What? Think about that for a minute, God. What are you going to debate a motherfucker on? That we teach. Not that say asked by somebody else and answered by somebody else. No, you say no. Newborns don't debate. We don't debate amongst each other. See, we build. See, God, let me tell you something. And I heard people saying something about this the other day. You know, the way we go through lessons. You know why we got to go through lessons like that? Because we got to know who the best knower is. How's we supposed to find out who's the best knower when everybody running their fucking mouth? Shallah, you hit that on the head right there. See, being smart and having supreme intelligence is different things, and that's why I said, see, you can be fooled by IQ. See, you can be fooled by people who have, you know, retained a lot in their memory. They've memorized a lot of facts, right? And they have reading comprehension. But they don't have full understanding. See, even when you come into the knowledge, right? When you first come into the knowledge, a lot of what you first have is reading comprehension. And then over time of living it out and going through those stages, right, through the research and the experience of it. Meaning, you know what I'm saying, you know, people today is a little bit older, right? But you know, when I'm getting the knowledge, I don't have no children, right? So when it says father, yeah, I understand, you know, I comprehend, you know, I know what a father is, but I don't know what a father is. You understand what I'm saying? The same way I have since 1994. You see what I'm saying? Like, see now, you know, see my son come and ask me, yo, you know, this science right here, you know what I'm saying, with my child. See, I could tell him something now. I couldn't have told him nothing then because I didn't have full understanding. See, you can't debate that. What how, that's non-negotiable. See, where people get caught up at, right? Where people get caught up at is not understanding, right, that this mindset is the foundation of this knowledge, right? That's the foundation of this nation is this mindset. See, that's what happens. See, people start thinking that 120 lessons is the foundation of the nation, right? So then as soon as you start talking about 120 lessons, where you go from there? Farther than logic. See, I'm telling you, I know the people. See, let me tell you something. There was people like Namcal. He wasn't the only one, but he's one that a lot of people would know that you can ask around. Ask around. Namcal used to say that he was he was in the first resurrection. And what he meant by that was that he was in the he was in the mosque in the 60s. He was in the temple in the 60s. How many people saw the video of the Muslim who said that he came to the rally in Mount Morris Park? I heard about him. I heard about him. Yo, Qasim Shabazz, remind me. I'm finished saying what I'm saying. I was just thinking about you. I saw somebody doing something stupid. I was like, see. Right? But the Muslim, right? Yeah, black man spelled backwards. Exactly. The Muslim said he came to the first rally, right? Now, when he came to the first rally, why Allah didn't tell the guys, yo, pay attention to this brother right here, you know what I mean? Meet this brother because, in time, when y'all go back in the mosque, he's gonna be one of the brothers that help y'all. Why right there in front of all the guys at the rally did he not say that? Why did it go the way the Muslims said it went? Did the Muslims say that when he was there, right, that, he saw all the young Muslims and their training was coming along nicely, he was already seeing some of them that he knew was going to be in the mosque? What? And like I said, you got to give us a date because all the 5 percenters is not in one place. Like New York is big. New York City is big. So how'd you get everybody to go along with this? Why does none of the evidence point in that direction? So this is what I'm saying. When you realize how ridiculous some of this stuff is, right, you also have to realize how ridiculous you are debating somebody about it. Farm Bank of Haiti. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's a little bit crazy right there. But look, I don't know if anybody got any questions on that. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I built with the brother and the things he was building on, right then, I agree with everything he was saying. It's just that, in my mind, it's like, see, look, if you go on their story, right? If you go on their channel, right? You gonna tell your story, but they gonna narrate it. You know what I'm saying? The editor is I'm not in the film industry, but I would say the editor is one of the most powerful people, you know what I'm saying, in this video world right here, what we doing. You see what I'm saying? So if you giving that person the chance to edit, to cut the excerpts, look, Sunborn King Sun told me the same thing about that last video that he had up with Wakil. Yo, God, that was supposed to be on there. Yo, God, who are these people y'all are being around? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what's good? And I mean, these are older. Like, who are these people y'all are being around, and what y'all expected to happen? Man, let me tell you something. I don't buy that stuff from Shaheed neither. See, first of all, Shaheed tells several stories about it, and second of all this stuff about you argue with Allah. Listen, Allah told you what it is, and it took you 3 days to see it. That's about it, bro. That's, stop, man. I don't buy this stuff, man. I don't buy none of this stuff, man. Yo, God, listen, tell me this, man. How they got knowledge God to go along with it, God? That's full stop. If they change the teachings of Allah, how did they get knowledge God to go along with it? That's it. We can change the subject now. We can change the subject, sir. We can change the subject altogether. You know that ain't gonna happen. But look, I have some media here, right? Where a brother made a video, right? It was sent to me, right? And let's go ahead and bring this up on the screen. See, I can step my game up. You see what I mean? I got my technology. I came back on the screen, the restream. I don't know. It's complicated. It's jamming up my computer. I have no idea. Like, this is just a little smoother, but they made some upgrades over here since I've been here. So I gotta get used to this over here again. But at any rate, this brother here, right? This was sent to me. This was sent to me, right? Let's go full. Right, making trouble amongst the righteous. Right, so this is a channel here. This is I'm trying to get to the brother's name. All right, hold up, I know what I gotta do. There we go. So making trouble against the righteous, you know what I'm saying? That I am show, you know what I'm saying? From what I understand, this is a young brother right here. You know what I'm saying? I heard like the very first little excerpts. You know what I'm saying? But the first things that he was talking about, structure and things that could make the nation, the day-to-day, everything we had to do, run according to mathematics, the way he sees it or whatever. But that I am show, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. Go over there, join the Young God page, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure he can use our support, but we're gonna check out what he's got to say, you know what I'm saying? Making trouble amongst the righteous. He has here this screenshot of the desert, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm sure that's I'm thinking that he's saying that there's some people that need to be run from amongst us across this symbolic hot Arabian desert right here. You know what I'm saying? So, without further ado, let's see what the guy got to say. Intro is kind of long here, young guy.
Peace to Allah's sons and daughters, his 5% nation. The great gods and earths, my brothers and sisters, thank you once again.
Now look, I'm gonna tell you, you know, whatever, whatever, you know, we start with the great gods and all of this type of stuff. You know, it's always like we the guys. You know what I'm saying? We it's some things. It's some things that to me is like overdoing. It's overdoing. But I digress.
Again, for your time and energy, I come to you in the divine name of I Am Powerful Allah. The title for this presentation is Making Trouble Amongst the Righteous. In this, I will dive into the long-standing intricacies of troublemaking within the 5% nation and expound on the dire need for improvement as it pertains to structure, discipline, conduct, democracy, and the execution of justice. Using the culture degree in the 1 through 14 as my primary point of reference to build this framework, I will show and prove the.
I like that. We starting out with we starting out from a good point of reference, right? We all know this. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you whipping out some biblical or reference to the Quran where we don't understand. You know what I'm saying? We don't know the whole time and the context. So like I said, that's the unique thing about 120. You see what I'm saying? And to understand the Bible, you got to go all the way back and understand the Greek and the Hebrew, because some of the things that we reading in this Bible is a translation that's not 100% accurate. You see what I'm saying? But see, when we look at the 1 in 36, you don't gotta explain that to us. You ain't gotta explain that to us, because we know that through research and experience. You know what I'm saying? But let the God proceed.
Potential disastrous elements forming within our infrastructure and propose a comprehensive approach to addressing the above mentioned. Let's begin. The culture degree in the 1 through 14 leads with the question, why did we run Yaqub and his maid devil from the root of civilization across the hot Arabian desert into the caves of West Asia, as they now call Europe? If you studied well enough, then you know that Yaqub didn't live to see his idea be brought to life. It took 600 years to make or graft the devil, according to the teachings. Yaqub died before the completion of the first 200 years of grafting. Therefore, it's not possible to run Yaqub and his maid devil from the root of civilization at the same time. This means that there are two.
Whoa. Whoa. Before we get into what this means, look, I'm just saying, I don't know if anybody else caught that. But see, that specifically, right, is a very important thing, right, in terms of understanding ideas and how ideas is manifested, right, through various bodies. You see what I'm saying? Meaning, if Trump say, look, go attack that country, all of those bodies is moving off of his idea. And it's the idea that they living out, which is devilishment. See? Because we know from our science, right, where we teach colored people, right, that if they not living out that idea, right, then they come amongst us and be righteous. See, most of y'all ain't had the knowledge for 35 to 50 years right? To make somebody else be studying for 35 to 50. You see, look, I barely have it. I have a couple of Masons right now, you know, because I've been doing this more than 35 years. But that's you know, this is a very, you see what I mean? See, we align his 5%. You see what I'm saying? Because of the idea and understanding the ideas. You see what I'm saying? Even when you know when you get to it becomes important because you don't want to be like Voodoo Harris. See, for the new people, Voodoo Harris, that's my name for everybody who doesn't understand. See what I mean? And I call him Voodoo Harris because of, you said, I just got 120 on cap this year, but I first got knowledge of self in 2007. Well, congratulations. You know, I mean, look, I hate to do this to you, but what took you so long? But at any rate, yeah, see, I call Voodoo Harris, right? The individual who misunderstood the 10th degree and got far busted. See, who knows who knows how much further it could have went. But you got somebody around who don't understand, right? Who don't understand, right, how we ran Yakub and his maid devil. So I guess he doesn't also understand how Musa taught them what Yakub taught them. But let's see what he got to say.
Separate instances of exile being discussed here. Let's go deeper. The first run, Yakub, the bringer of change, the surplus, the originator of the problem. You must discover and eliminate the root of the problem. Now, it's important
to bring that back a touch.
I want to hear of change, the surplus, the originator of the problem. You must discover and eliminate the root of the problem. Let's go deeper. The first run, Yakub, the bringer of change, the surplus, the originator of the problem. You must discover and eliminate the root of the problem. Now, it's important to note that Yakub himself was never technically exiled. According to the teachings, a deal was made that Mecca would financially support Yakub for 20 years to conduct his experiments elsewhere. This was done because of how much attention.
Okay, Jigga 1017. You my resident. You my resident. You my resident NOI expert. Is he not mixing this up here? He's mixing up the wisdom knowledge to the wisdom God degree with the culture degree in the 1 to 14. I'm saying he's mixing up the history. Because see, what he's describing is not when they start making trouble. He's describing when he's talking about they was supported to go somewhere. That was when they left to go to Patmos. Elijah's book says the king gave him provisions for 20 years, but that can't be in the culture degree because, like he said, Yakub never existed to see the culture degree. That's in the wisdom in the wisdom knowledge to the wisdom God degree, where he's promising his nation what he would do in gathering his followers and devising his plan, playing with the 2 pieces of steel. The Jigga 1017, you in there? Am I correct or am I off there? Before we proceed, AI, what's the deal? But see, look, in the wisdom build degree, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he's talking about the wisdom. He's talking about the wisdom build degree, but that ain't got to do with the culture degree. He's confusing two histories right here, or two parts of the history. Things that happened before the island of Patmos with things that happened after the island of Patmos. But let's proceed.
And traction that he was gaining in Mecca and all the disturbances that he was causing. We'll also discuss that key point later on in the presentation. The second one is the devil, which is any man made wicked, or any live grafted germ from original is devil. You must also eliminate others who sided with the originator and spoke his or her language, which is, of course, lies. Since Allah returned to the essence in 1969, it's safe to say that a multitude of factions within the 5% nation have taken root and sprouted. There's a lot.
Whoa! See, this is this type of talking. This is this type of talking of more. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'll be like, damn, son, I had the knowledge almost 40 years. And I ain't never what I've never heard of this. Factions. Many factions have arisen. See, this is where people get things confused, guys. This is where people get things confused. This is where this goes too far. This is where this goes too far, G, where people start to think like, look, see, it's a lot of people is just not us. And y'all need to keep them out of our business. See, because as soon as he say this, I don't know if he understands what he's doing. You see, how much ever names he's gonna put there, right? Somewhere down the line is one of them you consider black and one of them you consider brown. You causing the separation right there. See, the first step of grafting is separation. See, as soon as you get to the island, you put motherfuckers in categories, right? And it's those motherfuckers over there and those motherfuckers over there. See, all this shit right here. See, look, he's probably a good brother. He's probably a good brother. You know, I don't know who he is. You know, we need to look. If anybody know who this brother is, get in contact with him. Get him on here. But that right there, you started going down, right? You started going down the wrong path when you say that different factions have arisen. See, first of all, God, understand that we a certain kind of way. We a certain kind of way where it ain't gonna be no factions, right? Because see, if we don't get along, it ain't gonna be just y'all don't like that nigga. It ain't gonna be that. It's not going to be that. So this could never exist.
Laws 5% nation, the 5%ers, the nation of God and earth, or commonly known as NGE, and there's even a sect called Muslim gods, all claiming to wave this.
See, somebody get this, brother. See, this is what happens. This is what happens, man, when you don't deal with your history. Like, see, he started off talking about structure. right? He started talking about infrastructure and all of that. And see, that's what I'll be telling people about. See, when we go into the ciphers, right? When we deal, that was an infrastructure for you to get the knowledge, man. Like it was places where you could go, you know what I'm saying, if you wasn't scared, and whatever question you had. See, I could go up there and say, yo, God, man, I was studying this degree, I ain't really like what this mean right here. You know what I'm saying? God, but yeah, God, the way you got to deal with that, God, you know what I'm saying? And then you got to know this history right here. You got to study this right here. Boo, 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 boo. Or the guy might get out a pen and paper and be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got to subtract this right here from right here. And then you got to add this right here, whatever it might be. And so, see, the structure that you need, that's what I'm saying. These people be straying away from the structure. They stray away from going around the people, right? And see, when you go around the people, look, tell them a lie and tell. When you go around the people, you're gonna hear a lot of shit you don't want to hear. You're gonna hear that, look, that shit you doing is bullshit. Cut that out. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna hear, no, you're wrong. You're gonna hear all of that. But see, if you stray away from there, then you'll find yourself like, see, now do knowledge. This is one of the things he's talking about, problem solving. You're solving problems that didn't never existed. They only exist in your mind. See, we'll tell you that, listen, look, a rose by any name is still a rose. Here's the thing. You can say all those names, but where's the different people? Like, it's not like you said, like, okay, who the people who call themselves this and the people who call themselves that is two separate groups of people. But see, he's somebody who don't know. See, he don't know that, in fact, the Muslim guys is not this at all. How did they get to be a faction in this? Who else is a faction? The Navy SEALs?
Same flag. Well, my lessons say this and my lessons say that. Sheesh. Who is the cause of all this trouble being made amongst the righteous? How much more lying, stealing, manipulating, and deceit will be allowed to take place in the name of Allah? Who is acting as the medium for this falsehood to spread and influence minds? Let's observe the answer in a degree to attempt to address the above. Because he started making trouble amongst the righteous people. First, let's define what a righteous person is. Righteous people.
See, here's the thing right here. Nah. See, and look, now we get into the nitty gritty. Now we get into the nitty gritty, right? Where, look, you said who's these people? I want to get to that. I want to get to that. Because see, this keeps being said, look, can we just, because that's how we do. That's how we do. When we hear it's you, we come to ask you. Yo, God, what's up with that? See, that's the thing. It keeps being these mystery people who supposedly, did whatever he's getting ready to say. So now let's let him explain to us what's righteousness.
People are morally upright and virtuous individuals who act with justice, kindness, and integrity. This concept is especially prominent in culture, religious, and or spiritual contexts where a righteous person not only follows ethical principles, but also adheres to divine laws and commands. The term implies a person who does what is morally right, both in their dealings with others and their relationship with God or a higher spiritual power. In short, these people do not want any trouble. To make trouble means to intentionally create difficulties, disturbances, or conflicts for others, disrupting the normal flow of events in a social, professional, or personal context. The trouble created can range from minor annoyances to more significant issues. Now, we have seen a number of instances where people come to intentionally attempt to derail the motion that we make. They'll say peace and pretend to respect the culture, all while making mockery and calling it pseudoscience. Or they'll try to convince our women that we don't value them and that somehow being the earth is a lessened position. And another example of misogynistic behavior within our culture. These
Bro, bro, if I hear the word misogynistic one more time, I don't think that's in Supreme Alphabet. I don't know, man. Where did this kind of stuff, where, where did this kind of stuff? See, look, this is guys that was born after 1995. They got this kind of language.
are examples of people making trouble amongst the righteous from the outside in. However, we also have those within the culture who are practitioners of the same activity. Allah didn't teach this. Allah didn't teach that. Some of the elders have even gone so far as to develop their own cult-like following within the nation. To them, no one can be Allah, other than the one man who passed away in 1969. To this, I say, emphatically now, Cypher, that's worship. In 2025, there is
All right, now you skipped over that, G. You skipped over that. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. You taking shots and see, look, let me speak to the young people in a language that y'all can understand. Right? Let me speak to y'all on how I get my face back in the screen. See, y'all can't just continue to speak about my dead homies that way. Like that's how y'all like listen, B. Y'all are talking, right? And saying things, and we just, I'm just because see, here's the thing. If the trouble is we need to bring these people away, you gotta tell us who they are. See, because at the end of the day, right, if those people is doing devilishment, right, and you know it, and you ain't telling us who they are, you're down. You're not a bystander. You're down with that shit. See, you wouldn't go back and explain righteous again? You wouldn't go back and define righteous again? Will somebody please stand up and say what you're saying?
no longer one body governed by supreme mathematics. Instead, lineage, self-styled wisdom, and understanding has taken precedence over the knowledge and wisdom that got us all here in the first place, accusing them of telling lies. Accusations have a profound and often devastating impact, causing severe emotional distress, long lasting mental health issues like PTSD, financial ruin through lost income, and permanent damage to personal and professional reputations. The repercussions extend to family who experience stress and strain and can even lead to a legal and criminal penalty for the wrongly accused. Conversely, accusers can face consequences themselves for their false claim. Have you ever heard of being guilty in the court of public opinion? To be found guilty in the court of public opinion means that the general populace has judged the person or entity to be at fault for wrongdoing, regardless of the official outcome of any legal proceedings. This informal judgment is formed and amplified by news medias and social platforms, which do not operate under the same rules of evidence and procedures as official courts of law. In this nation, we say word is bond, and bond means life, and I will give my life before my word shall fail. Yeah, sounds good, right? Well, unfortunately, too many of us have not upheld such an honorable creed, so our words don't hold the same value they once held. Brothers lying to each other, sisters lying to each other, gods lying to the earth, earth's lying on the God. When will it stop?
All right. This is starting to take on a religious tone. Like just and see, I got a thing that triggers in my mind when I start hearing that kind of talking, right? When I start hearing that kind of talking, that just throws me off. You know, that just throws me off. You know what I'm saying? Now we talking about, listen, bro, you started off talking about structure and infrastructure, and now we talking about gossip. You know, there's fields of endeavor in life. You know what I'm saying? It's different industries and economics, et cetera, et cetera. You know, but let's see, you know, how he ties all of this in to some type of solution. You see what I mean? Because like I always say, there's a difference between giving an expert explanation of the problems, right? And providing a solution. See, a lot of people that we think is real smart and revolutionary is really just very good at articulating the problems. We ain't never seen them come up with a solution. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, let's see where this goes.
Causing them to fight and kill one another.
But Johnny, the link, I just put the link in the comment box if you want to come in.
External false accusations intended to create trouble can cause profound internal conflict by eroding trust, manipulating emotions, and undermining cohesion within a person, a group, or an organization. The fabricated narrative forces the target to question their reality and relationships, creating a dilemma between defending themselves against an outside threat and managing the ensuing internal chaos. How many ciphers have suffered because gods had a personal disagreement? How many gods stopped coming around because a brother stole from them and everybody knew about it, yet no justice was served? How many earths were victims of domestic violence and sought refuge with their so-called brothers, but were met with a cold shoulder? We must take an honest look.
I don't know, Mr. I am. How many? That you just going, hey, Mr. I am. When did you stop beating your wife? You just going you just gonna make. See, let me tell you something, man. Even the devil make accusations against you. He got to prove that in the court of law. Did you just how many? Yeah, how many, Mr. I am? What you saying? That was 99% of everybody? How many, Mr. I am? And listen, and perpetrated by who? Where those people at now? How many, Mr. I am? Would you please tell us? Instead of making all these accusations right here? Come on, man.
Look in the mirror and decide what kind of a nation are we really striving to become. Yaqub was an original man and father of the devil. He taught them to do this devilishment. We father ideas the same way we do children. All that is necessary is a medium for it to be executed. It's important to emphasize that Yaqub was one of us. Not only was he an original man, but he was a scientist with the gift of persuasion. I say this to say, rarely is it a stranger that fathers devilishment into your life. It's one of your own. Your own people are the only ones who can convince others to stand against you. How? Because they're close enough to you for outsiders to believe their lies about you and take them on face value.
Bro,
Paul himself
this
is
bro,
quoted as saying,
it's like he
the
said
only one
something.
that can hurt me is the
You mean like the
5%.
lies that you telling right now? Well, let's not even say they lies. These ain't confirmed stories that you telling right now.
Only saying that those people that you love and trust have the ability to do real damage to your character, your name, and even your life itself. The root of civilization is in Arabia at the holy city of Mecca, which means where knowledge and wisdom of the original man started when the planet was first found.
Yeah, you heard that? You heard that? Mr. 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 The firstborn is telling you what Allah taught and then taught. But now you're gonna say the root of civilization is where they from. Now you're gonna say that the root of civilization is where they from. Let me see if you're gonna say that that was established in their time and not yours. For you to say that it's something wrong with them saying that Allah didn't teach that. How about that one?
We, original people, are naturally peaceful people at the root, the core. When a naturally peaceful person is pushed to question their reality due to trouble and accusations made, the experience can be deeply destabilizing and traumatic. This often involves tactics like gaslighting, where a manipulator makes the victim doubt their own senses, perceptions.
Bro, let me make an announcement right now. If you thinking about getting the knowledge, right? Gaslighting is not in the 5%. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Look, and that is not, see, in the 5%, if you know the truth, how the hell is somebody gonna say something else? It make you, what you supposed to change your mind? That don't exist. That's not a thing in the 5%.
And memories. For a person who values peace, such a situation forces a collision between their core values about trust and safety and the conflicting information they're receiving, leading to severe psychological distress. We ran the devil across the hot Arabian desert and took everything from him except the language. What is exile? Traditionally, the parameters of exile in a cultural or territorial context involve involuntary displacement, a profound loss of identity, a longing for a home, and the establishment of misplaced cultural spaces. While the specific conditions vary by era, offense, and motivation, the core parameters remain consistent across historical and cultural contexts. As a nation, we need to establish our own universal agreement and understanding of exile. In my own Quran, I've witnessed many people be exiled, only to still be embraced by those who grew fond of them during their time amongst the righteous. This weakens the power of the exile. So I say, all those who choose to associate with the exile must also be exiled. We must begin to establish a form of order within this nation if we are going to move in a good, orderly direction. We can no longer turn a blind eye to the unrighteous acts that are committed.
Hey, well, look, this whole part right here, the line tell, we know he ain't talking about us. we, hey, look, AI, we know this part right here, he ain't talking about us. You know what I'm saying? So, so the rest of y'all pay attention.
In the name of Allah, we have lied to one another. We have stolen from one another. We have falsely accused each other. We have fought each other unjustifiably. We have permitted domestic violence, adultery, child abuse. I mean, the list is long and is truly unacceptable. It doesn't matter if that's your man's, if he's wrong. It doesn't matter if that's your sissy, if she's wrong. This nation is all wise and does everything.
All right. See, now we reached the point, right? See, this is why I look. This is why I watch like I watch like the gang stuff. I watch I don't watch this kind of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Because things go through where I'd rather just, look, watch something that's just entertainment. It's just on the screen. And then for the most part, I'm thinking, because see, at this point right now, he started to make me wonder, right? What happened? Like, what happened, Space? Just tell me what happened. Who did something? Who did something to you? Right? Who took something from you? Who did you make a deal with? Right? This is I Am Powerful speaking. Queen Know Her, right? Look, who did you make a deal with, right? And it didn't go right, and you went to the guys and shit, right? And the guy said, listen. See, if it was me, if you came to me, right, you said, okay, so y'all did a deal, right? And the deal didn't come out right? Now, the deal, y'all was doing some illegal business, right? And if y'all would have completed the deal successfully, right, what would have been my cut? See, if I wasn't gonna get no cut, right, when if the deal went successfully, don't give me the problems when it don't go right. How am I involved now? Why you ain't come before all this happened? See, now that's what you started to make me think happen, is that, whatever happened, right? Whatever happened, you know what I'm saying? It didn't go right, and you know what I'm saying? He's trying to politic it. Right now, that's what it sounds like to me. That's what it started to sound like. Because you ain't specifying no person. So I'm just saying that we asked you for an example, right? And the example is something that happened to you, I wouldn't be surprised.
Everything right and exact. So I propose that we establish some form of government within this nation on a local, regional, and national level. So the concept of this is personal would no longer be a license for unrighteousness. He went savage and lived in the caves of Europe. As stated in the wisdom degree in the 1 through 14, a savage is a person who has lost all knowledge of himself and is living a beast way of life. This is how people can change up on you after being confronted or exposed and try to rally others against you by maintaining a negative perception of you, even when they were the one in the wrong. Now that is a savage in the pursuit of happiness. A righteous person, someone with true knowledge of self, would never do this. This was 6,919 years ago. Let's break that math down. 6 plus 0 plus 1 plus 9 will give you 16, as in the 16th degree. The 16th degree in the 1 through 40 asks, who are
All right. Hold up. Hey, and tell he rocking that Dumar shit now. Look, he better be on point though. Look, you catch a flashback right there. That's that Dumar YD shit right there, son.
the 5% on this poor part of the planet Earth? And the 16th degree in the 1 through 36 states, I beg your pardon, I've never heard of one. You cannot be a savage and a 5%er at the same time. This means that your equality in this cipher must go from knowledge to born. The balance and the fairness that we uphold does not stop at 6 for you, Earth, nor does it stop at 7 for you, God. You must go from 1 to 9, or your selfishness can and will destroy you. How to live a respectful way of life.
Yeah, nah, see, look, look, he started off good, but he need a couple. You probably have to know Dumar to really master that. Yeah, that ain't necessarily, see, first of all, Dumar keep going. Like, Dumar ain't gonna stop. You can be in so about facts, what it's saying, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that fell a little bit flat at the end there, you know what I'm saying? But he started out good.
A respectful way of life is one that recognizes the inherent worth and dignity of all people and living things and is guided by kindness, empathy, and integrity. This practice requires both self-respect and the conscious effort to treat others with consideration and care. For example, a respectful way of life is honesty, effective communication, positive conflict resolution, keeping your word, healthy boundaries, and understanding differences. The opposite of that would be disrespectful, dishonest.
See, ultimately, this screen right here, it seems simple, but this is this kind of speaks to everything like what he's saying that people is always saying Allah didn't teach that. But see, with people that say that, they leave out that they tell you what Allah did teach. And so see, all of these definitions that he got, right? He got them from college sociology or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? But you didn't tell us what Allah taught about this. See, Allah taught us how Allah gave specific instructions, man, how we were supposed to be brothers and sisters amongst each other. You understand what I'm saying? How we were supposed to be in the atmosphere. So you said you was going from the knowledge culture degree. See, the knowledge culture degree tells us that telling lies, stealing, and trying to manipulate people is devilishment. You see what I'm saying? And when you come with these other things, it's like, okay, now I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta translate this stuff. I gotta translate this stuff that you're saying into the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? When the knowledge is already, see, knowledge is something that you said that's a fact. So honesty is you see what I mean? That's that. But see, you not going. So let's see how he ties this back in to mathematics, because when he say we need instruction and infrastructure and all of that, and then you start leaving out the supreme mathematics. See, that's what I'm saying. You got a lot of people that never really lived this out, right? And they saying that this is wrong. No, you got it wrong. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, if you trying to steer the car, with the gear shift, and you like, yo, the steering wheel don't work. That's not the steering wheel. And so ultimately, that's where a lot of this stuff goes off at, because it's like now you coming up with your own stuff. That's for your life. This is all, I ain't telling you what to do. I'm just saying that now when you try to make this, like this gonna be our national, whatever, that's not the way it is. Sometimes people have to accept, right? That look, if you got pneumonia, don't come to the rally. At the rally, there's people there, like the guy, what's the guy out there in Pittsburgh? His wife is she got medical expertise. You know what I'm saying? But that's going to be her medical expertise. Don't come to the rally thinking that, asking us a degree, like that degree is going to cure the flu.
Miscommunication, unwarranted violence, breaking your word, unhealthy boundaries, and exploitation. So ask yourself, is your way of life respectful? How to build a home for yourself. The planet Earth is the home of Islam, and Islam is mathematics. So
Look, I was just about to say that, look, y'all know I'm a nitpicker. That's what I'm saying. The planet Earth is already the home of Islam. The devil got to build a home for himself because he can't be with us. See, some of this stuff, I know what you're saying. You're thinking that's semantics, but I'm telling y'all, that stuff is real.
listen to the gods. Let's treat these women as though we know and understand just how vital they are to the stability of our family structure and the future of our nation. Too many sisters share the same stories of abuse and deception that they have experienced while dealing with the 5%. And if we truly know and understand that the woman is the first teacher, then perhaps we may want to rethink how we are behaving. My sisters, you're not off the hook. I advise you to not be so naive and blind to the reality when it's presented to you.
Hey, look, that's that high level. Hey, look. Now he's going into the good book now. He's laying down. Hey, look, he pushing that P. He pushing that P down. Hey, wait. That's what this whole thing. That's what this whole thing boiled down to. You pushing P, son. You said all this shit right here. See, cause that's how that's how people do. You see what I'm saying? When you got thinking that look, his whole game is talking bad about you. He calls the woman up to talk bad about you, and that's his plan. that's, but this whole thing, this whole time, hey Shaka Noodle, you in here, man? Shaka Noodle, do you see this man pushing the P? This is what all this boils down to, brother. Let's proceed.
Know the difference between being taught and being drawn up. For many, this happens in a fine mist that the naked eye can hardly detect until it's too late. Build a home for yourself. A home is a safe space, a place where you can be yourself unapologetically, meaning everyone living righteously should feel safe and at home in this nation. Take accountability for.
Hey, look, the original Mr. 120. I was gonna let that safe space thing go. I was thinking, look, maybe I'm harping too much. You know what I'm saying? Listen. Hey, look. Hey, look. You hear that? You hear that, Shalon? And tell. Hey, look. Safe space. Hey, tell. Was Livonia Avenue and Junction Boulevard and all over there? Was that a safe space? Hey, up on Broadway, up on Broadway was that safe space. Yeah, look, I can tell you 126th Street and 7th Avenue is not a safe space. It's not. Hey, look, I caught that. I was gonna let it go.
Your actions. Remember when I said earlier that we'll discuss the key point of Yaqub never being in exile later on? Well, now is that time. Do you see why? Does it make sense? Oftentimes, those who father the devilishment that we endure are not exiled, i.e., held accountable for the trouble that they've caused. The people who share their erroneous, misleading, and egocentric and often misogynistic views continue daily to make it harder for each of us to reach our goal as a nation. We must cut the head of the deceivers and the enablers, because if allowed to live, they will surely try to destroy someone else. Thank you for your time. Peace.
Woo. I am powerfully alive. Properly exemplify Allah's culture effectively. Woo. Give me one. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, there's that. There's that right there. You know, so you know.
With YouTube Music Premium.
So yeah, you know, ultimately, man, who knows? You know, ultimately, who knows what the deal is with that there? You know what I'm saying? You know, hopefully we'll get a chance to build with the brother, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he sounds new, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, while I was reacting to it in real time, you know what I'm saying? Wisdom be born with the science. You know, I was reacting to it in real time and everything, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I do these to teach. You see what I'm saying? And see how I say much is given, much is required. You see what I mean? So until I really get a chance to build with her, yes, I mean, you know, one is held responsible for what one knows. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, I think it's, you know, just a few things, a few, you know, places where, you know, he might need to become aware of some history, you know what I'm saying? And then some things that, you know, listen, that's grown folks' business. You know what I'm saying? Meaning like, look, this, see, like, I don't know if that's what he's talking about, right? But look, if you let 20 years pass, right, by the time I got the knowledge and you ain't do nothing to it, you ain't do nothing about it, don't throw it on my lap now. That's their business. See, the people that's here in my time, I'm not here to teach them nothing. See, I'm here, you know, look, there's people that, you know, may or may not be who, you know, I know some people that, you know, they done some things, but you know what? I go amongst them and get the best part. That's all I can do with that. You see what I'm saying? Because see, now you talking and you just taking people's accounts. You're taking people's accounts that, yo, the person said this, the person said that, or whatever, but you don't see at the end of the day, right? We all see we righteous because we want to live in a world where there's love, peace, and happiness. I ain't going to heaven. If you going, I ain't going with you. That's what I'm saying. So I don't need to be doing righteousness on no moral shit for after I die. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna deal with it right now. You see, so what we all got to do as individuals is our part to live in the righteous world, right? Through our actions and through the people that we affect. You understand what I'm saying? But listen, that's a part of the history, right? That when Allah first came with this knowledge, he tried to teach the people who, was around his age and older, and he seen that the babies took to it the best. You know what I'm saying? Not that he wasn't always teaching the babies, but saying it came to a point where he realized, like, yeah, there's no need to talk to these people because they're not going to be the solution. So this is what I'm saying. I don't know if he knows of any specific situations that he's saying that, but look, that you got to say that. You got to say that so that it can be dealt with. Because see, look, he's taking for granted that we know that happened. If you take it for granted, like you saying somebody did something they need to be exiled for, how you know I know that happened? So we'll have to see. But True or Johnny, what's the science?
Peace, God. Heard you was looking for me.
Yeah, we already know.
I mean, I gotta get mine in. You got the thumbnail up. You got the brother on the movie to True or Johnny. Let's build. I'm like, whoa.
Shit. Hey, look, we gotta do clickbait. You know what I'm saying?
Science,
But
Peace.
like I was telling the brothers, you know, everything that you were saying, I was agreeing with. You know what I'm saying? There was some things that I would have added on. You know what I'm saying? There was some things like I was telling the brothers. I wish it was like the presidential debate, and you had the thing in your ear where I could have. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I think this might be the next level of this show. You know what I'm saying? Where we had to start, kind of explaining some things to the younger brothers. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, the younger brothers, you come into the knowledge, right? Especially these days where people is coming in at an older age, right? Your skull has already hardened around a different mindset. You know what I'm saying? Just the whole way that you look at the world, your worldview and everything. You see what I'm saying? And just a lot of things that, according to your worldview and the way you look at things, right, you don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling people when I first got the knowledge, I didn't understand about not being pro-black or anti-white. It didn't even make sense to me in the coming from the world that I came from. It's like, all right, if this is our side, this is our side. What do we mean we not pro our side? You see what I'm saying? But you have to grow into this knowledge. You have to grow into this understanding. You see what I'm saying? Like I was explaining, I'm gonna have a whole live stream where we discuss that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? We'll see when you join like a gang, the gang is started by teenagers. You know what I'm saying? And so the things that he's talking about in terms of the zero tolerance, the zero tolerance, that's kids. You understand what I'm saying? See, Allah, right, being in his 30s, up to 41, when he had the knowledge, those were all children. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, he knew that some of them was good and some of them was bad, but he had the same love for them. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's a lot of people that we come into this knowledge and we have to grow into the understanding, right, of a grown man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, as children, we don't get the full meaning of all the messages. You know what I'm saying? Like when they said, Allah said, go to school or get a job or get a trade, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, why I need to go to school when they don't got this knowledge in there? Why don't I stay here and finish school where the brothers is building? But see, all that's because at a higher degree, right? He knew that was about preparing yourself to be able to play the role you're supposed to play on the universal flag. You see what I'm saying? So these types of things like this, where people come in and they say, and you talking about things, you got zero tolerance. See, like he said, what was that thing he said about? He made the thing about peace. There's also positive elevation, always correct errors. So see, you here to talk about somebody that did something in 1966, right? Because that's the case. See, you meet some people and they still telling you a bad story about somebody that happened in 1966. It ain't nothing happened since then. So a lot of times, man, do you really know the full story behind a lot of these things you're saying? You know what I'm saying? Have you really taken the time to understand that, this was founded, right, by, a military man? You know what I'm saying? Brother who was in the NOI, family men, these types of principles, right? You left that out. See, even if you're trying to, and I can say this from experience, right? If you're trying to get the older brothers to see something, you got to put it in that kind of terms. Like I've had conversations where I told them straight, hold on, God. You told me that Allah said this. Now, why the fuck is that going on? But see, when you come with your own list, right, of honesty, dishonesty, yeah, what's gonna happen with that? You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, right, you know what I'm saying? What is you gonna accomplish by building with the old? Like, what's the solution? Like I said, if you got diabetes, what you talking to a plumber for? Like, what conversation are you gonna have with this plumber that's gonna cure your diabetes? What tools do he have in his van to treat your diabetes? So I don't gotta say nobody old. You see what I'm saying? You see all the things that I execute, book bags, candy, bouncy house, youth boxing. That's what I deal with. And see, up here on the front lines, I ain't got no time to see what's going on back there. You understand what I'm saying? The niggas back there, they observing me. I don't know what the fuck they doing. I don't know who ran. I don't know none of that. But yeah, guys, you was gonna add on?
No, I'm waiting on the questions. You said the brothers on the platform had some questions about.
Yeah, so brothers on the platform did say they had some questions. So we got True Johnny here. You know what I'm saying? Have anything? You see what I mean? Because see, like I said, right? That's what I said was the first lesson before you came on here was that we did the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Where, we contacted you. See, like I said, I didn't even want to give that no more energy than it already got. See, because we life itself. So see, when we pay attention to shit, we cause it to be alive. But anybody out there that may wish a lot of people is not going to have questions now because I've already explained to them that really the dude did some snake move.
I
You know what
mean,
I'm
I
saying? Where
mean,
you
I mean, I don't want to act like it was just a snake move on behalf of me saying something. Like I'm gonna say something. I mean, obviously this is a nation, so I
know,
understand when
I'm,
it comes to
I'm, on,
the.
I'm only talking in terms of him recording it and putting it out. Because
Yeah,
see,
but
what
I
you
just want to
did,
make it boring that
what
I'm
you,
not opposed to it being out though either, God. You feel me? I just want to make that boring too though. Like I'm not
yeah,
opposed to the message getting out or what I said to the brother or how I said it to him. It was deeper than just that video. In your
right,
original
and that's what I'm
video,
saying. When you explain that
original
part,
video,
that's why I said, look, everything you did, right, was right. But see, the rest of all that explanation, you know what I'm saying, when you said that, nah, this was really about, you know, him making certain statements and me and him had a private conversation. Right? Now look, when you telling the truth, yeah, it don't matter if you put it out. Like what you gonna put out is all it's going people is gonna find out is that I told you the black man is God and the white man is the devil. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. That's not the issue. The issue really was just that at least my question. You know what I'm saying? Other people may have had whatever, but it's just that uh, him in particular, right? That individual, um, that's his goal in life. Like it's like you remember on Dave Chappelle when the white dude was riding in the car and they listened to black music and the blind black dude looked over and called him the N word and then they was all happy like yo that's the type of dude he is like that he got into a discussion with an actual 5%. He's listening. He's getting for the rest of the week. You know what I'm saying? But we got one question here. It said, do you see that Abu Shahid made the mathematics with Allah?
do I see it?
I said, I think he means, do you think it's true that Abu Shahid made mathematics with Allah, supreme mathematics?
I don't know. I was born in '84, but from what I read, it was Abu Shahid, Justice, and the father that came up with the mathematics.
And where you read that,
No multiple sources, God.
what you said, Muslim sources?
Multiple.
Yeah, well, I've only really seen that come from Shahid. I've never, what other source besides Shahid?
I don't know, God. I mean, I said it.
Yeah, but that's what he's asking you, like how
I
you
mean, you just said you heard it before from Shahid. I mean, I don't recall the direct source. I've been building for a long time. That's just what I've heard and what was accepted. I've heard it from other individual miles, elders, and things of that nature. All
yeah,
right.
nah,
So, what's the last thing you heard me say, God? I didn't make a mistake and hit that. I was
you
just saying I don't
said
have a direct source
you
for the
said you
God.
heard it from a couple of elders, some other elders.
Correct.
Yeah, nah, that started circulating when Shahid came back around.
Okay. Well, Shahid's an elder, and I'm pretty sure he's built with brothers that's older than me. And I'm just saying that's what
Well,
I've heard, God.
one thing about it is that he gives more than one version of how it happened.
Jezaru up next. No, I don't mean I took it on face value. It mean what I just said. I was born in '84, so I couldn't go back and heard what came out of somebody's mouth before I was born. And so I did my due diligence with my elders and the brothers I walk with in the culture.
Hmm. He said Abu Shahid said he made his own mathematics in his book, which went up to number 12. Yeah, that's the other story. That's the other story that he came up with supreme mathematics. He came up right. Now look, check this what Mills Wave is saying. He said that. He said that he he came up with a mathematics that he felt that it was supposed to be in 12 steps. And that he got busted and that when he came out that Allah and justice had the supreme mathematics over here and the 12 Jews over here. The 12 Jews is not our lesson. The law didn't give nobody the 12 Jews. So I'm just saying that, look, if that's his story, you got to kind of narrow it down. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying, look, why?
That don't really affect my build either, God. I mean, it's peace. I mean, the brother said it, and I was just building with the Muslim God about the mathematics being ours. But I go through my mathematics. It don't matter to me what the Bahu. I mean, Abu said something 1 through 12 and all that. That don't matter to me, God.
Well, you once you say it, God, then that's your word. You know what I'm saying? This right here, this is exactly what I'm saying. Is that, look, there's experience, right, in history that we know, right? There's things that we got to say is that, okay, for me at least, right? If one person, right, who disappeared for decades comes back and says something, right? In the meanwhile, the whole rest of the history, right, is not saying that or saying something else. That's a part, you know what I'm saying? Like, people say things, God, but we still got to examine it. We still got to weigh it and judge it. We still got to cross-reference. You know what I'm saying? We still got to go, you know what I'm saying, to, you got to go over the planet. See, because Allah said, if you want to see me, you got to come together. So the way I accomplished that is I went everywhere. Everywhere where the people had the knowledge, I went over there and asked them what they heard from Allah. You see what I'm saying? So, and just not for nothing, just not saying you went on a show, but just the whole point of you addressing the Muslim guys and everything is because these is the places where, these is the places where they ease themselves into our history. That's what they trying to do.
I ain't allowed them to ease themselves into nothing. And I would trust that anybody on this platform would have took the opportunity to address the things that they were saying on the platform that they were saying, and the incorrect representation of the universal flag with links saying join the ranks of the Nation of Islam, amongst many other things, taking a personal hit at a well-known elder in Detroit that I took personal advice to. So, I hear y'all, it's peace, but it ain't something y'all got to worry about. These is D-Mecca must-learns that we see all the time that try to take a shot, not just at us, but at the Father. And I talk to them and put them in their place. It's really just that, God.
See, I hear what you're saying, right? The brothers in Detroit is the best knowers, right?
But no, I ain't saying that.
No,
and I made it vehement. I made it vehement that I wasn't speaking for the nation when I spoke to that brother. I made that vehement.
Did you say
and
that
I'm not saying that.
Allah?
Say it again.
Did you say that your name is Allah?
Yep, sure, Johnny Allah, God.
All right, God. Then what else was you speaking?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what was the questions. Everybody had to. We need to talk to True Johnny Allah. What's up? I'm here.
Well, yeah, I already dealt with you, God. You know what I'm saying? I look. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing, right? If you stand up and say that your name is Allah, right? My teaching is that, all right, now you're responsible for what you say. Like, you didn't say that you hold up, God. You didn't say that you came from no other nation. Like, we just asking you some simple questions, God. Ain't nobody say nothing about you. Like, you seem a little bit cagey, God. Like, look, if you
because I didn't hear no questions, God. You would feel cagey too, God. Y'all had the same avenue and stream, Lord, to reach out to me and build with me, God. Y'all chose to go to YouTube talking about True Johnny Allah like that. Like, so I was anxious to get here and see like what the big deal was.
So if you was anxious to get here, right? Don't ask us questions. What you got to say?
Y'all ain't asked no questions. That's what I'm saying. Y'all had questions, God. Ain't nobody asked no questions. Somebody asked about quoting a damn math or something. Ain't nobody asked no question.
You a question about what you said about Abu Shahid and supreme mathematics.
Okay,
right?
and he
And
taught
then hold
and
on,
he
hold on.
and he
And
taught
I
his
built on
perspective. Okay,
hold
I
up.
learned
I
something.
added on
Next
some
question.
things. I added on some things that I know about the topic. Nah, God, we ain't got to ask no more questions. We ain't got to ask no more questions.
Okay, well, peace. There it is.
So yeah, for the rest of the live stream, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got any other questions there before we wind this one down? The True Johnny had did a video, right, where he went on the Muslim Guide channel, right? So they have a title on there, Is Allah a True and Living Muslim God? See, here's the thing, guys. People want to come on here, right, and make content and be content, right, and don't have nobody say nothing. Don't have nobody say nothing. Yo, and tell, remember people used to hear that you said something and come to your house? So now, you know what I'm saying? When I say that what you did is right and exact, it's all good, right? But then, you know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm saying, I add on, you know what I'm saying, now something else. Like if I say that, listen, God, these things that you're saying about how mathematics was originated, God, that's not shown and proven. Like we got some real questions about that, right? Oh, now that don't count. That don't count. When you say something wrong, that don't count. You don't got to worry about that. See, that's why I said we ain't got to ask you nothing. See, because at the end of the day, God, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, uh, you said the link. Nah, you got look. They got a channel called the Muslim Guide Network. When just put in the search box, the Muslim Guide Network. Hey, it's whoever is the person in here who kept asking me what's justice. Somebody asked me what's Justice Born Day. I mean, look, D Mecca got the knowledge right and exact, but he got to get it right and exact. Yeah, I mean, look, that's where. But this is what I'm saying. When we saw him on that network, right? We saw him on that network. You know what I'm saying? You went on there and said you was love. You know what I'm saying? I don't, recall no other time. Like, see, people want to come out and make public statements, right? And then deal with it all in private. Like, see, this is what I'm saying. This is one of the things that we got to learn, right? This is one of the things that we got to learn, that this is the digital jungle. You see what I'm saying? Just like you know, we have to learn how to navigate in the concrete jungle, right? Now you gotta learn how to navigate in the digital jungle. But yeah, that's how it originated. So then, you know what I'm saying? Even look, you what he's talking about, right? You can look, right? Earlier today, I put up another video, right, where I said, yo, you looking for True and Johnny. So now he's talking about the thumbnail and all this shit. Like, you serious, God? Because see, we spoke earlier. Word is bond, we spoke earlier. He came on the live stream because I sent him the link, God. And we had a great conversation. Wasn't no the conversation did not go like that, God. We started out with peace, we ended out with peace. And you can look at the beginning of this live stream and see that I started off by saying, look, Knowledge Born could tell you. King Math could tell you. Right? That I said, yo, he didn't even mean to go on there. See, maybe he misconstrued that. When I said that was some snake shit, I mean, that's some snake shit for you to be having a private conversation with somebody. They record it and then post it. Then it's like, yo, this starts rolling on and on and on and on and on. Like, yeah, all right. The chat got him unraveled. God, remember I said that at the beginning of this live. See, don't try to be a 5%. Don't try to be a 5%. He said, let him in. Where you at? Oh, don't try to be a 5%. Or don't try to be a 5% or come on the internet and don't have thick skin. Whatever you say, right, you're going to have to show and prove that.
All I asked was, what was the questions, God? You didn't present a question.
God, the brother presented a question, right, where he said, how do you see what you said, right, about Abu Shahid being, or whatever, him being a part of the origin of supreme mathematics, right? And then you said that you read that. So I just was asking you for the details, right? Like if you read it in some other place, give me an opportunity to go research that. You see what I'm saying? So now that you made that statement, you said you read it. And so I asked you a couple of questions about it. So then I went into some facts that I know, right, that would, in my mind, bring about some understanding of why I'm asking you exactly where you read that. Because to me, right, I've Intel, did you ever hear that before Shaheed came back around? I've never heard that outside of him, right? And like I said, if you got multiple stories about one event, that brings your statements into question. That's where we was at. Right. Law Intelligence said he heard it when he came back around.
And all I said after that, God, is that if even you heard it, then what's the big deal? Y'all taught me something. Cool.
Yeah, but see, guy, if I heard it, right? See, once I repeat it, it don't matter if I heard it. See, once I repeat it, I was supposed to have shown and proven it. Or I was supposed to say, well, you know, that's just what I heard. But see, when you make that statement, you made that statement. That's why brothers asked you.
I gave a rebuttal for that. I said then after I heard it, I took it to some elders that I walk with in the culture that's well respected and built with them about it. I mean, I didn't know how deep the brother wanted me to go.
Well, really, we want to know what you say, guy. That's the thing. Like all these people, you said you read it in the book, and the elders told you, right? But then did you weigh and judge it for yourself? Because see, you didn't tell us who the elders was. Like if you told us, like if you said, look, God Supreme said that, I ask God Supreme tomorrow. And if it's right, it's right. But I'm just saying that, this is not the way, I'm saying in my history of time of doing the knowledge, right? That's not the way we show and prove, God. We come up with names, you know what I'm saying? Dates, right? If we talk about John Harden Hawkins, if we talk about Musa, whatever it is, God, we come up with names and dates, God. Places where anybody could go and show and prove something for themselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Look at it like this. We got Y Supreme in here, right? You turned 23 yet, Y Supreme? See, we got young people here too. So where can he go and research that? Oh, you still see why? Hey, look, why you already older guy, man? I know you try to play young now. You know what I'm saying? Shakalat said, Allah gave us the supreme mathematics. The Father may have allowed the people he taught or sparked to add on. Correct me if I'm incorrect. I mean, I don't wish, I mean, that sounds correct. But what you mean? To add on, how you mean add on to what?
Fuck.
Like what you mean? Like they made their own lessons or something?
Hey, can you can't pull none of them in to talk? They got some questions. I don't really understand what they're saying.
I mean, mostly what they asking is
Condescending shit.
they mostly asking why you it appears to us that you being offended by the questions.
I'm not offended by the questions. I answered the questions. Y'all had one question.
Well,
The
no, I
brother
mean,
said, "Do I
you don't
think?"
have
He
no
said,
more
"Do I
questions.
think Abu Shahid?"
See,
No,
look,
it's a lot
you
of shit
said,
in there.
let me ask you a question, right? You said that you was getting calls, right? Whatever was the nature of the calls, right? So you said that that's why you came on here. That even after I explained that, look, I already explained to the brothers that you didn't even mean to go on there. Like we already discussed, me and you discussed. When we first, the second sentence that I said to you is, first of all, good job, guy. Like I didn't see the whole thing, but what you manifested, I agree with.
That's not the nature of your first video, God.
What was the nature of my first video? Look, and I said that. I said that in the time you was gone. So what did I say in the first video, right? That
You
is
want to
leading to
find
that.
out?
And
You
hold
want to
up. And
find out?
why
Oh,
we
go
didn't
ahead.
talk about that on the phone when I called you?
Because I went straight into why I did it. I didn't even because of the nature of your first video when we first got on the telephone call. When in fact you wrote in there said when I got off that you made the call first. Before that you didn't. God, you posted some shit first like who is this guy, True or Johnny? I
Yeah,
may
but
have saw
God,
him.
right.
God. Can I add on? G, I ain't even say shit. Who is this guy, True or Johnny? I may have saw his name a couple times. But if you're gonna get on there with some Muslim guys, why not afford this platform, all this and that? And so when I first got
No,
on the
I didn't
phone
say my
with you,
platform. So you put
God,
some.
yeah, God, play it back. I ain't listen. I'm paraphrasing, but play it back. You said it exactly. Why would I go to the Muslim God platform and not afford other worthier platforms, God? You said that, and
I didn't
that's the
say
first
my
thing
platform. I didn't say
no,
my
I didn't say you
platform,
said
and
your
I did that
platform. I
for a
said
specific
other
reason.
worthier platforms. So the point I
Okay.
was making is that when I first got on the call, which I said, God, that wasn't nothing that was orchestrated. I didn't even know the motherfucker was about to go live with it, XYZ. I said, all that happened in 4 hours. I said they was taking an attack on some bullshit. I told them I was tired of typing, and we got on the call and I bombed them. That's it. I said, but that's not the nature of D Mecca. That's not the nature of me. I said, I checked something, God, and I left it there. So all I'm saying is I never acted like nothing and came disrespectful about nothing. So then you said the guys on the podcast had some questions. So I sat on here for 45 minutes. And then when I came in, I said, God, you said y'all had some questions. The guy first question was, do you think Abu Shahid gave the father to mathematics? I said, I was born in 84, so I wasn't there. But from what I read, when I talked to my elders, I heard that it was Abu Shahid and Justice and the father that came up with the mathematics. And that's all I could get it, brother. I don't even know nothing else. And so I'm saying, was that the whole reason for the call, the thumbnail? Who is this True or Johnny to figure out if I felt like Abu Shahid gave the father mathematics? Like, that's all I'm
No,
saying,
it's
God.
not. No, it's not. Hold on. So my question is still right. So you said that I said, who is True or Johnny?
God, play the video.
Is that what you said that I said? Or do
You
okay?
said,
Fuck it. Let's play it. Hold up. Let's play it then.
what lesson is he on?
Uh, I've seen this brother's name. I've seen his brother's name since I've been on social media, right? But I don't. I'm trying to get this back to the beginning first, real quick. What's the deal out there? So yeah, uh, I've seen this brother's name. Yeah, damn right I'm using an ad blocker. One, two, 1, 2. What's the deal out there? So yeah, uh, I've seen this brother's name. I've seen this brother's name since I've been on social media, right? But I don't recall ever meeting them in person, right? So what this is about is I saw a video on it came up on my recommenders there, right? And it was a video of the Muslim guys, right? And they was asking, is Allah, I think it said, is Allah a true and living Muslim God or something like that. So, generally speaking, I don't, have nothing to say to them, and I'm glad when they don't have nothing to say to me, right? Divine education was the deal, right? I'm glad, but for scientific purposes, I did some research, right? I just decided to do some research and check out the video. You know what I'm saying? Certain love from the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So right now, this really is a preview. A preview. This is really kind of a request. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody out there knows True Ajani, right? But he was on this live stream, right, on the Muslim Guy Network, right, and the title of the video was "Is Allah a True and Living Muslim God?" Right, and so this brother True Ajani was, he was on that show. So I don't know what would be so wrong with asking him to come on our channel. You know what I'm saying? But if anybody knows him, right, reach out to him, right? Tell him that we're gonna be on the live stream. We're gonna be on the live stream tonight. You know what I mean? And we got a couple of $64,000 questions. You know what I'm saying? One of which is and think about this, right? Just in general, right? It's like, why is everybody going to everybody else's platform? You know what I'm saying? Whether we talk about major platforms, right, with millions of subscribers, or whether we talk about, small platforms, with a couple hundred, people that we don't see them on a law school or network, right? Not discussing those topics. We don't see them on Sunya's channel, right? Why is there a push for people to go to these other channels, right, and discuss the things that they discussing? You know what I'm saying? So if anybody can get in touch with Johnny, I hope that's his name, right, and tell him to come on the live stream, with us. You know what I'm saying? And we just gonna build, because the people on this channel, y'all know that me and the Muslim guys, we've had our words in the past. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even want to review that video on my channel, right? But look, I was gonna let it ride. It was the type of thing where I was like, I'm probably the only person that's gonna see this, right? So let me not blow it up more than it is. Let me not give it life that it don't have. But I woke up this morning, I heard about that. I also heard about a character that's I think it's the name of the movie is The Highest to the Lowest. It's supposed to be a character in a Spike Lee movie. So we taking a lot of heat right now. I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? From crack him, you know what I'm saying, to people sitting in that yard talking crazy, right? With they white women. You see what I'm saying? to look. It's like it's ongoing. What is going on? And what about them, right? And their channel, right, is a solution. What about going on their channels is going to bring about a solution? You know what I'm saying? But like I said, this is just real quick. This is just real quick to put in that request, because I know that people tune into this from all over the country. I know all various people. You know, look, if you call out to Detroit, right, make sure y'all tell about who I shed peace. Mr. Freedom, I shed peace. You know what I'm saying? But look, can we get in touch with True Johnny? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, in the meantime, between time, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off and say peace, and we'll see each other later on the regular schedule. All right, now first of all, let's say that you was correct, and I wasn't thinking about that part. I wasn't thinking about that part. You was correct, right? That I asked for you to come on this show, but we had a couple of comments come right there, and my question is still, I said we never met before. Have we met?
No.
And I said, you know what I'm saying? We would like to build with the brother. Now, like I said, a lot of the questions, especially if you see the questions that I had right there, right? You answered those in our conversation. And so that's why when I came on here, that's what I didn't say nothing about you. I didn't say you was negative. I said your name is True Johnny, right? So in my mind, you know what I'm saying, all that's respectful. So for me to say that, okay, you went on an intergalactic forum, right? And you said, you know what I'm saying, whatever you said, right? Whether it was good or bad. If it was good, and I just wanted to meet you to say peace to the God, right? So in my mind, when we had that telephone conversation, right, all of that got straightened out. But if there's something else, right, let me know now.
Now, Cypher God. When we had the phone call, you said come on the show. They got questions. The only thing I asked was that the most important question? If I thought Abu Shahid saw the same way to mathematics as the father. The guy said, why you get disrespectful? How did I disrespect anybody? I didn't say anything. I ain't disrespect nothing. I'm just sitting here waiting on the questions. You said, God, that your panelists have some 64,000, whatever you said, questions for me.
But right
so
now,
my
question is, what's your understanding, bro? Because you keep saying that this is something else.
I'm not saying nothing, God. I'm explaining to you.
You said it, but
to
it
you.
Don't never mean nothing. So what I'm saying is,
bro, that's your understanding, God. I don't listen. I don't have no understanding of it, God. I'm explaining what transpired, God. Before we get off the phone, you said y'all had questions.
No. We passed
so I came and I just said what the questions was.
What transpired. We passed what transpired. Right now, we at what do you have to say?
About what, God?
I mean, about first of all, right? What was it? What was it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because at one point you said that it was something about me asking you to come on a live stream by making the video.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this is what I'm saying. What was that? Right? And then I'm saying that when we say that, listen, God, we don't accept that you showed and proved by saying you read something, but you don't recall where you read it, and you heard it from elders, but you don't recall who they are. So that's what I'm saying, is that what have you weighed and judged, God? What have you determined to be true? Like I'm saying, if you're teaching somebody right now, are you going to tell them that Shaheed and Justice and Allah made it? See, what I'm asking is, why did Allah Real never tell us that? Why did El Nahim and all the people who's known to be with Justice, why did none of them ever tell us that?
I mean, I can't answer that for you, God.
Yeah, but God, right. And so that's all we doing. God is now we dialoguing. So now if you say, okay, boom, I
Exactly,
never
bro. Exactly.
now
But what's
we
the
get
many
to the good,
stripes?
but
What's the many stripes
you
if I
trying to
say
shut it
add on,
down.
God?
You
What's the
trying to
many
shut it
stripes
down.
if I say
Like,
I'm
no,
not
it
shutting shit?
doesn't mean
God.
nothing that
I
what
didn't
you
say
just
shit down.
said, you
I didn't say
can't
shit
show and
down,
prove.
God. You heard, Lord. I didn't shut shit down. You heard me say, okay, thank you for teaching me. Add on. What's the next question? I ain't shut nothing down. That's the whole point of
Okay,
learning.
so
That's the whole point of
Okay.
interacting with guys
Can
and
you,
learning things. As far as my
let me
knowledge
ask you
went,
this.
that's
Can
what I
you
had.
understand this aspect? Can you understand this aspect, right? That I'm the one who began with the question, right? I was one of the first people who saw the video. I'm the person who made the video saying that it's $64,000 questions.
Why not?
And
Why not just call me though, God? That's the whole point I'm making.
am I
They
the
on there
one who
talking
made
about
this
some he
video?
coming frustrated, he coming hot. I mean,
Am
why
I
not
the
just call
one?
me? The
Am
same
I the one who made this
the phone
video,
call to
God?
ask Johnny call me. The first time I know about it, somebody sending me a YouTube.
God, am I the one who made this video?
Yes.
And I said that is $64,000 questions, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so see, for me, as soon as you say that I called him on a personal call and he posted that, automatically you answered all my questions
So
right
what you
there.
tell me at the conclusion of the call that the guys on the phone on the panel had questions, God? You said that.
Okay, and and so before you came on, right? How long? What time did you come into the live stream?
I don't know. I forgot.
So this is what you do, guys. This is what I think you should do, right? Back up, right? Back up the video, right? Go back to the beginning of the video and watch the first things that I said about you, guys. And then you will see why it's no more questions. If I'm the person who opened up the questions, and then I'm the person that say, no, God, all those questions was answered, and the God was right and exact. Now nobody else has questions, God. If
All
they
right,
didn't
parse
even
up.
see the video and their
All right,
questions was based on me saying, who are you?
parse
Now
up, God.
they're saying, okay, fine. So now
I
the only question
apologize.
the brother had was about something specific that you said.
I apologize. Parse up. And that's not facetious. I apologize genuinely. I'm saying I came into the call, God. You didn't say nothing. You just started talking about the video, then jumped on like, okay, so what's up, God? Like, I'm like, what's the questions?
I
And the
mean,
first
not for
question I hear is the math.
that. When I said that, I mean, listen, maybe because we don't know each other. You know what I'm saying? And so my mannerisms or whatever, you understand what I'm saying?
Bro,
But
who's this
you
M
know,
guy? Allah guy, bro. Stay off the Twitter, bro. Just jump on the video or something, bro. You saying shit I can't even respond to. You don't even know me, cat.
see this what I'm saying.
I'm
This
saying
is
he doing all that. Just jump on here and talk. He don't even know me. Who is this God? Put somebody else up there, bro. Come walk, bro. You just talking. I don't even know you, bro. You talking about I'm being disrespectful. How? I ain't said nothing about you. You sitting here talking about who is this D Mecca God? What lesson you on? All the God, just come walk. What you texting all that for? Like I ain't said one disrespectful bill, God. Look what he's dropping though. Just go back through the Texas. That's crazy. Just jump on the call the same way I did, bro. Jump into the video call. I can answer anything that you need to know. True or Johnny Allah, God. I teach righteous on a universal level. A Johnny come through the supreme mathematics. Allah is just and true. And now's the time to end the devil's uncivilization through the science of I stimulate life and matter, God. I could be emotion, God. Jump on the rise above that 6 with me, though. You talking through that.
what I'm saying. I don't.
I'm about D Mecca God. You ain't saying nothing. You talking about I'm not listening. Listen to who? I'm building with the guy. I'm saying jump on and build with me, bro.
True or Johnny, add on.
So the whole reason for the call with the Muslim guys, as I explained to the guy, that's not something that we try to keep up or nothing that we try to like advocate, that we just be bullies or we just tap into shit that don't matter. It was a few attacks through a few social media sites where we asked them to take the flag down because they had groups that was named the Nation of Gods and Earths. But when you click on these links inside their groups, it said join the Nation of Islam. It talked about the will and different things like that. So on more occasions than one, we reached out to the brothers and asked them to take it down. They then began, excuse me, this barrage of like online attacks, not just against Dr. Bahu. They started dropping things about the father and different things of that nature. And just one morning, when they was coming through the feed and coming through the line, they made a statement and said they never can get any guys to come on. They always running and things like that. And I engaged with them, and it wasn't anything that was disrespectful. It was it was very diplomatic, because we see a lot of these brothers every day and we interact with a lot of these brothers every day, but more times than often they try these silent attacks that many may think is nothing, but we understand how important the internet is and the defamation of character is too. And so that's why I engage with them brothers. So that's the gist of how that all came about. It was nothing planned on a video call. I didn't like agree to them to sit down with them and go over anything. I didn't even know the brother was making a YouTube video.
Okay, so that's it.
I mean, that's the history of it, God.
All right, so peace, black man.
Peace.
So yeah, back to anybody got any other questions, man, about any other topic? See, because just sitting up here in the rabbit hole where it's like, look, see, just the fact that the foundation of this is the Muslim guys. That's why I'm like, all right, I see. I see. But anybody else? Hey,
I see that question right there, God. True indeed. Right at the end, he pardon yourself, God. I didn't mean to cut you off. Right at the end, he had asked about the history of the lessons, and I was telling him that my educator, as I was getting degrees, I've had knowledge for 16 years. I knowledge 120 when I was 26. I'm in my free knowledge right now. I told him that it's cool to understand the lessons from a historical standpoint. However, when I'm getting degrees, I'm more so applying them to myself. Like I'm not, I'm drawing them up from the mathematics and the alphabet, and I'm making it to the reality of what I see it today. And that's kind of what he cut off. And I think it was an important part that he cut off because he kept trying to correlate how we're not the ones that really look at the lessons how they supposed to be, and we're not the ones that under false pretenses says he was doing the YouTube video. We're not the ones that look at the lessons the right way, and he kept referencing that we were idiots the way that we read them and things of that nature because we don't look at it from a historical standpoint. And he referenced the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as the 1, 2, and 3, and saying that the father didn't have it right in his act and he was older than the father and all that, bullshit. So I think he did cut off an important piece, God, because I was giving him my perspective of how I look at the degrees, which totally separates how a Muslim would look at it or how the Nation of Islam was pushing them.
Hold on 1 second before you proceed. Hey, look, Encyclopedia Brown, send me the link so I can get some of them jump offs, the iron sheet jump offs. I probably only need one right now, but text me the link. But yeah, go ahead, Drew.
Do you think he did it up under the false pretenses of the YouTube? So in the end, he sent me a video and was like, check this video out. It didn't have the name and the title that it had. It didn't have the father on there, Injustice. It didn't have Honorable Elijah Muhammad on the other side. It had something about just a friendly debate or something like that. And he sent out like 2-3 different versions. And it was really a clout chase because before I even saw the video go out, I didn't even see what he posted about who. Like he really said the Nation of God's a nurse, Allah's 5%, that we had an attack out on the Muslim gods right now. and it was a guy going around saying that they can't be Muslims and all this other stuff. And when we did the science and looked it up, it was a 16-year-old video that, you know, about who did a long time ago that wasn't even talking about nobody today, that the brother went and chopped up and cut up and made something new and just began to bash the guy, calling him idiot, retarded, all this other stuff. So we didn't really see the bashing of the Nation of Gods and Earth until we actually went to the site, you know, and that's when we asked them to take the flag down. Peace, God.
Peace. Is y'all still out there? You know, our regular schedule. You know, to do our regular scheduled questions here. You know what I'm saying about you know, any topics that y'all might have. You said, I really wish that the brothers and sisters in the NGE could put out a book titled The Nation of Gods and Earths for Dummies. See, here's the problem, right? This is not for dummies, right? Bro, you didn't write nothing down. See, in this day right here, where you can, you know, you can go back to the polls and you can do, nah, God. Some things, God, we heard that one time, and you had to keep it on cap. See, look, Axel tell Shalashi, sometimes brothers like us, we had to come back together and be like, yo, God, remember the guy who was talking about the signs? Yeah, I remember he said this part, but what did he say about that? We had to do that sometimes, you know what I'm saying, to get back to the full understanding of what we had. You see what I mean? Because see, like I said, everything that you hear, you don't gain a full understanding. You see what I'm saying? It's later on that you realize, like, oh snap, that knowledge and wisdom was really important. You know what I'm saying? Let me go with the brothers that I know that was there with me. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes I might just ask into, well, yo, what did such and such tell you about that? He told me this. You see what I'm saying? You know, so, you know, and this is not for dummies. This is, you know, I hate this sound. I hate this sound harsh, but that was, look, healthy, strong, good breeders, and also good at multiplying. You see what I'm saying? So them types of things, those type of people, what you're saying, that's not really, that's not for this. See, this what you gotta understand. This is, see, religion comes from somebody went in a cave and talked to an angel, right? And the angel gave them the whole book in one day. You know what I'm saying? See, religion comes from the Pope gives a decree, and now everybody gotta go according to that. See, history and culture don't develop like that. See, some things in history, look, you wasn't there that day. See, in culture, right, it's also dealing with our environment. So, we may be doing things a certain kind of way because this is the environment that we in. You know what I'm saying? These are the resources that's available in that environment. See, what y'all want is for it to be hadith. Y'all want it to be hadith, right? And so then we can have jihad against each other. You see what I'm saying? With whoever is not on a deen. That's not the way that this occurs. This occurs. In 1964, we had one flag, right? In 1968, we had a different flag. See, that's growth and development. That's not something that you make up a couple hundred years later. You see what I'm saying? When you write the book about the people and the events a couple hundred years later. No, this is we know the people. We don't have a founding myth. There's no magical thing that happened in the beginning and then it was the 5%. You see what I'm saying? So now, see, look, I tell you, me personally, I already told people, see this here? I'm taking this down when I'm finished. The all these live streams, if y'all think y'all got this for posterity, no, you had to be there. Y'all ain't gonna destroy my shit in y'all time. Do your own teaching. That's look, when I'm going, then it'll be your turn. Leave my shit alone. You see what I'm saying? Because if you depending on this, you ain't doing what you really supposed to be doing. Which is drawing up the best part of this. You keeping it there so you can repeat it. You don't need to repeat it. You need to renew it. You need to make it yours, right? By doing the research and the examination and all of that for yourself. So now, you know what I'm saying? And truly, Johnny, look, this is one of my common Western names. So don't take this personally, but see, when you do the research and examine things for yourself, then see, whatever I say because I said it. I ain't said because nobody told me, because I can show and prove it in this day and time. Just because somebody said it in ancient times, if that was wrong, if you can't show and prove it now, there's no need for you to say that. So see, whatever I say, listen, don't go no place, right? Because see, we got a couple extra people in here tonight. Don't go no place, right? And tell people XYZ, and they say, why? You say, yeah, because Darkim said it. I'm not going to back you up, son. I'm not going to back you up when people should not even know him. When you speak as you say it. Speak as you examine it. Don't say I said it. Say you said it. You see what I'm saying? Because now what's going to happen when the day comes, right? When physically I'm not on the planet no more. Now you still teaching somebody about somebody they can't see. You still doing the same thing. That person ain't here right now. You right here saying what you said. So this is why, no, it's not, it'll never be, look, if it's up to me, it'll never be a 5%. Look, I don't like the shit that's out there now. I don't like that you could go on the internet, right, and think that you're 5%. You know what I'm saying? I'm not under the impression that all everybody needs is the knowledge. That's not true. Look, how many pairs of Michael Jordans have been sold? It's got to be at least in the millions. It's only one Michael Jordan. It's not the shoes. It's not the shoes. You gotta, if you're not Jordan, right? The shoes ain't gonna pump you up. But yeah, see that people could go on there, right? That you could go on there and you get the lessons, right? And somehow you think that replaces the walking. You think that the talking replaces the walking. You know what I'm saying? And see, that's something that's happened recently, right? Where when we got it, right? Remember in time, see, wisdom was wise words and wise ways and actions. See, the ways and actions, see, the wisdom is just the word now, say. But when we got it, it was wise words and wise ways and actions. See what I'm saying? Because you need both. You need the research and you need the experience. See, because like I said, these things that's in the lessons, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it says self a savior. But until you teach somebody, you don't have the fullest understanding of that. You know what I'm saying? It says father, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what that means, but you don't have the fullest understanding, right? Until you have babies. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is to be an asset in the community, right? You know what I'm saying? As a teenager, I didn't have the same understanding of that I do now. You said, how has the internet shaped the perception of the 5% nation? See, the internet is all pop culture. You know what I'm saying? Let me not say all. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not pop culture, right? But look, the internet is pop culture. And the pop culture version of 5% does not know the teachings of Allah. They know the whole Wu-Tang catalog. They know the whole Grand Nubian catalog. They bought the red and white Book of 120 from Melchizedek off of Amazon. And that's what it is. That's what it is. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to name some things. That's look. People got to be in their own good time, but I'm just saying, this is not the. See, how many pop culture 5% go to the rally? How many of the pop culture 5%, right, was at the ciphers on Broadway Junction, 161st Street, the Dukes, Fulton Mall, Fordham Road, 149th and 3rd Avenue? How many of the pop culture ones know that? How many of the pop culture 5%, I'm talking about hip hop, I'm talking about movies, I'm talking about TV, ever say that Allah said 5% must go to school, get a job, or get a trade? See, the pop culture 5% is always the brother who is not living this out. He's always the brother, right, who has the wise words, right? But there's nothing in his life, you understand what I mean? Like, see, when we got a guy, when they used to say, listen, if this knowledge don't bring about no change in your life, you might as well leave this alone. So the pop culture 5%, that's the only change, is the slang that he uses, right? But you can't see evidence of this culture, see, because that's what happens. See, on the internet, you can get the knowledge, but you can't get the culture. See what I'm saying? Like, I could look at some people making some food in Mongolia someplace, right? Just say, for example, right? But I don't know what it tastes like. I don't know what it smells like when you walk in the house and that's cooking. I don't know who's got the real best recipes at that. See, you can only know those things if you live it out. You see what I'm saying? So, when you see this here, right? When you see this here, this is 2D. This is 2 dimensions. This is just length and width. I have depth. I don't want to turn this into a psychological, but look at how I have depth. We live in this in the 3rd dimension. And see, on the internet, on the TV, on the radio, see, you hear the sound, but you don't see the light. See, the sound can transfer through the speaker, right? And the image can transfer through the screen right here. But see, the real light that sound is transmitting, right? The person don't get that. You see what I'm saying? So that's why, me, I said, look, once upon a time, we just wanted to know who each other was. You know what I'm saying? Not just look, because like I said, see, in the concrete jungle days, you wanted to know who was where. Like if I'm in Brownsville, I want to know who's the guys in Brownsville. If I'm in East New York, I want to know who's the guys. If I'm in Harlem, I want to know where to find the guys. You said, what about the positive aspects of 5% who utilize their platform? Well, look, I don't, you put a category there. I'm gonna go ahead and step out on a limb and put myself in that category right there. 5%, with the positive aspects. Look, we do the best we can. We do the best we can, but see, look, this is not no jumper. This is not Vlad TV. What happened there? Am I? All right. Yeah, this is not Vlad TV. You know what I'm saying? See, all we can even do, right, is tell you to find the 5% where you at. That's all we can really do. We can tell you to find the brothers and sisters that's around you so you can begin to live this out. See, like if you got it on the internet, I'm telling you, that's different than when, look, whatever the day is, right? Like I'm saying, look, it's Wisdom Born, right? You don't want to say the same thing for Wisdom that you said on Wisdom Bill. See, that's different from you read the same thing online all the time. See, now, that was my routine. When I'm on my way to school, right, I'm coming up with something. Look, they ain't never heard this before. I'm coming to shock the show. Now look, some of that that's immaturity, but I was a kid. But what that did is that forced me to grow my understanding. That forced me to come with knowledge and wisdom from in here and not just out there. You see, that's at the heart, right, of why we not Muslim as well. Right? Is that this is not just something that you give somebody when you give them 120. This is something that if a person is this, right, then you giving them 120 will help them to bring it out. But the knowledge got to come from inside them. And if it's not in there, those are the people you be talking to right? And you like, yo, man, you know this person, you know they seem all positive. It's not in them, so you can't bring it out. You see what I'm saying? Just like you can't destroy it in somebody who it is. That's why we say what used to be never really was. So yeah, we do what we can. You said I want to return the question of writing things down. If we don't write and record, how do we preserve along with development and growth? I mean, look, you got to pick healthy, strong, good breeders and those that's good at multiplying. Because see now look, there's a lesson to that, right? There's a lesson to that, right? That the older brothers, a BG, number 7, is one of the brothers that tell that story. Is that one time they was in the house, they was studying. You know what I'm saying? And the Jakes rolled on them. And whatever happened, you know what I'm saying, they ended up confiscating the lessons. So they took the lessons to the precinct. The guys went to the guys. They went to the law, man, right? And said, yo, guy, you know that happened. The guy said, what? So he goes down to the precinct, right? And they said he's in there and he's, you know, he's building with them. You know, he's telling, you know, that's whatever. So he said that they told him, like, hold on, you know what I'm saying, we're going to give it to you in a minute or whatever. He said they took a while. So as they was taking a while, the guy said they realized that they was making copies of the lessons. You know what I'm saying? But eventually they give the lessons back, they get over by the school, and the law says, see, that's why you got to keep these on cap. So see, that can't happen. They can't take them from you. That's a certain science. Wow, we got to keep this on cap because no, we can't refer to notes, right? When we have to remain righteous in all different environments, we need our knowledge and wisdom right here. So we can draw it up like that. This is the people, this is the science of the 5, right? This is see, you got to have your knowledge and wisdom so you can use the best part to save your life. See? This is not the honorable Darkim be Allah teaches us. You see what I'm saying? It's lit. It's a that's the difference between 6 and 7. That's the difference between 6 and 7, G. You understand what I'm saying? We not, you know, and shout out to people. I'm not saying don't write nothing down. But see, listen, you gotta work out your brain like you work out your body. Same way some exercises might seem insurmountable when you first trying it. You know what I'm saying? And then over time or whatever it might be, you know what I'm saying? Playing an instrument, driving a car, riding a bike, whatever it might be. Say here. Do you think internet clout has tainted the minds of those who strive to use the internet positively? Do you think internet clout has tainted the minds of those who, well, no, I don't know how, which mean, you got to clarify that question. Where you say taint the minds of people trying to do righteousness. Uh, like, give me an example. See, and I'm gonna tell you one of the, let me clarify my question even, right? Is that, you know, I'm from the world of determined ideas. Where if a person had determined idea to do positive, you know what I'm saying, how they end up doing negative. You know what I'm saying? When you know the science of, you know what I'm saying, how negativity come into existence, right, from the idea, if you already know the science of like and unlike, you see what I'm saying? So, you know, this is kind of a foreign concept to me. Yeah, write things down is good because see, you know, when you write something down, see a lot of times when you're talking, you in love with your own voice, so everything sounds good. But see, when you write it down, you know, now it's like see, that's how one of the ways that I study my lessons. When I was learning 120, I used to write it. See what I'm saying? So now, if you made a mistake, you can't. See what I'm saying? If you saying it, you might miss the mistake. You said, do you think financial freedom is also taking the devil off your planet? Indeed, that was one of the reasons for uh, you know, everybody having to go to school or get a job because if not, right, in the wilderness of North America, you know what I'm saying? You know, you're going to be unprepared to play your role on the flag, and you're going to have to resort to negativity.
Peace, God. Can I answer some of these questions real quick? I'm seeing as
Uh,
they stacking up.
well, let me
I'll be
let me get this last here. You said people chasing likes versus really teaching. I mean, uh, I would think that anybody like that. I mean, how do you get caught up in chasing likes? That to me, like you like because you know we started this out where you said people that want to use their platform for positivity. You know what I'm saying? Those are two different things. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, if the person gets caught up in chasing likes, right? Uh, you know, I would question, you know, how positive their intention was for the jump. Good. You said it was some questions you wanted to answer.
There's a few on here. Why is Prince alive? No, God, I haven't heard of the radio show before, the podcast before today. Random Jewels. So, True Johnny, what do you have to add on to the cipher? Well, I add on a lot to the cipher. I got a publishing company. We do a lot of publications for the guys at Earth that want to write stuff. I run a gigantic nonprofit here in Detroit. We employ a lot of guys at Earth, do a lot of giveaways. I'm intricate in the paperwork here with IC, Lord Zaid, Minister Freedom, starting the Detroit Street Academy, the 501c3. I add on a lot for the culture. I add on a lot for the culture. We do a lot of things here in D Mecca. And I just not most recently been meeting, you know, different guys at Earth on a national level, you know, talking about business and trust and owning land and, you know, grants and different things of that nature. So I'm a small little asset. That answers your question. Am I originally from D Mecca? I am. You're gonna have to go into the government to do what? Wise Prince Allah. You said you gotta have to go under the government. What you mean, God? We're from D Mecca? A southern accent. I guess. Yeah, peace. Could you expound on your question? What do I think I can learn from the brother? I guess whatever. I don't know. All right, let's go down these questions.
You got a couple of questions here piling up.
No question.
But you got this one. How do you trace your tree back to Allah?
I'm still tracing my tree back to Allah. Because I kind of got stuck at a brother in the penal. And a lot of the knowledge of who taught him has been a little secondhand. So I'm still drawing that up as we speak, actually. Given it. Said again, God.
You know 120?
I knowledge 120 when I was 26, Lord.
So how do you see using the internet for 5% teaching?
I think it's relevant. The devil teach daily, God. So we got to wake up and teach. And I think the same precedence of anyone speaking out of their mouth verbally not on the internet should still be, in adjacent with how God see things. I see it as a conservative yet liberal approach because the internet is here. And just as we see with these Muslim guys using their miseducation to attempt to mislead and get the masses to think that we are Muslim guys. I think that have to be checked too. So I think that the internet helps connect many different ciphers, especially from a perspective of what different ciphers may have going on, and just being able to add on. But it is, like you said, got a slippery slope because you got to be careful. You got to know how to navigate through it because it could create, something very heavy. think the internet is here to build Rico. I mean, counterintelligence ain't went nowhere. I just published a book called They Are Among Us, COINTELPRO Snitches in the War on the Black Movement. So I do think, and I know that, they're here as insiders. They're here to plant seeds among us. They're here to divide us, and just create trouble amongst the righteous people. So, the internet is the tip of the iceberg. We've seen many things firsthand. Even here in Indy Mecca, just doing I didn't ignore today's degree. You want today's degree? I give you today's degree. It's the 29th, man. Rajah so successful in all of his undertakings. Jesus Christ. Like, you want me to stop and give it to you? It's cool, guy. We can build in that on. But I think that the internet, when it comes to adding on and just staying relevant, guy, it's a lot of different groups, that's pushing things. And that's definitely the way for them to do it, because they can't really come amongst us from a standpoint of just sitting there drifting without somebody checking into them. How long have you been writing? Have you collaborated with 5%ers outside of D-Mecca with your books, like an anthology? No, I got Dr. Bahu on the forward. That's about it. I kind of been self-writing. I haven't collaborated with anyone with any of my books outside of letting Bahu do the forward. I'm not mad, guy. I'm saying you call me mid of a statement talking about I ignored your question. I'm not trying to ignore it. I don't got no problem with spending 120. I'm trying to give you my 240. That's it. Spend 120 all day. I'm trying to show you how I manifest and live out this culture.
Who is Chin Chang talking about sending link?
Send one link. Oh, they talking to you?
Yeah, I don't know, Chin Chang. You look like trouble. see, I avoid trouble. Look, that's why I've been quiet the last 20 minutes on my own program. See, that's how much, right? I attempt to avoid trouble. You said put the banner up if you don't trust you. I don't even know you. How the hell we get the trust? What are you talking about?
They are among us.
Oh, we gonna blast off with I don't know. What's up with Chin Chan?
I'm gonna drop the link for the books in here, God.
See, first of all, I can't even see that's I don't even know if that's politically correct.
What, Ching Chang?
Yeah, you fuck around, I bring you on my page and shit, and then I get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Come on here and talk crazy. So I just take this tag and talk about, yeah, look, we gotta have some, yeah. It's gotta be some zero science, some zero tolerance people.
What's the science with the city science? What you mean?
Yeah. Actually, I've been broadcasting on City Sciences.
Oh,
My other, what's your name? I've been broadcasting on here, City Sciences, and Facebook. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the City Sciences, there has been some topics. There's been some topics where it's like, yeah, I want to cover it, you know what I'm saying? But this ain't the real channel to be covering that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You start getting into all these weeds of all these various topics and shit.
No, I never heard of nobody named King Wide. Do he come to parliaments? Never heard of him.
I think you mean King Wise.
Oh, Wise. Yeah, that's a couple Wises. Depends on what you're talking about.
I think you're talking about the brother that do the martial arts.
I don't know Dominant personally. Never met him before. Dominant not in D-Mecca. Dominant not in California. Back, God.
Because hey, look, see now it's look. You see how you come.
I
You
mean,
see how you
Dominant from
got all
D-Mecca,
these.
God. I just heard he was out
All
in
these
California. I don't know the guy. I don't see him.
see how you got all these aliases. How you came right back. That's one of the reasons you got kicked out. That's see we listen. Who are you? See that's the first things first right there. You said nothing wrong. You said nothing right. That's what I hate when people do that. When people say, "Yeah, what about the other side? Why is the question only for me?" You know what I'm saying? Like when a person owe you some money, right? And they say, "Yeah, nah, it's only this amount, nigga. If it's only that amount, why you ain't paid me? If it's a little bit of money, why is you holding it?"
Hmm.
I asked you who you are a minute ago. You didn't say who you are. That seems like a simple question. I'm telling you, this is you. You see, you know why you can't come on here because you politically changed fortune cookie. Come on, son. You can't talk like that on fucking social media. You can't live. I'm not even politically correct, man. I'm not messing with you, man. You couldn't say who you was because you got banned. Ban him again. You know what the hell you
Bad
You
again.
know what I'm saying? Hey, look, man. This stuff is simple. See, let me tell you something, man. I've reached the age where I don't teach problematic people. I really never have. I've never really proselytized, you know what I'm saying? Uh, in the early days, I gave out the knowledge to like all my friends and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really know. I'm just giving it out because, I'm thinking like everybody else is thinking like, yeah, see, if we all have this, then we'll be fly. So, yeah, some of those people, but in general, you know what I'm saying? It's like, look, you know, once somebody get to the point of rejecting what you say, they're not a good student no more. It doesn't mean that they can't learn and they're not worthy of knowledge, but it means that now it's time for you to go and learn what one teach yourself. You see what I'm saying? Because see, I have time, right, and energy, right, and trials and tribulations that I put in to get my wisdom and understanding. Right? So why should I go through all this trials and tribulations with somebody who feel like they got enough knowledge that they don't need my wisdom and understanding? I might as well go teach somebody who want to learn. You see what I'm saying? If you could simplify this whole teaching thing like that, if you just teach the people who want to learn and stop trying to teach the people that you want to have the knowledge. See, my trouble these days is, people want to dictate to me. People want to dictate to me how they get the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like if I give you the lessons in the amount of time where you wanted the lessons, right? Then I'm a bad guy. See, I know who need the lessons and who don't need the lessons. Have you ever once met somebody? Have you ever once met somebody that said, "Yo, look, uh, you know, I'm not true and living. I'm not on point." See, everybody says that. See, everybody wants it to just see now. See, it's just me and the love. That's it. See, the rest of y'all, see, it's me. This is how some people be talking. You see, look, the way that brother was talking on that video that we watched. See, because he never spoke on none of the he never spoke on none of the positive things that the guys do. Like he didn't mention that there is a structure that people is straying away from. So this is what I'm saying. Every person that walks up to me tells me that they're worthy, they're 100% worthy of this knowledge. And see, I've just had this for too long. And I've seen too many come and too many go to think that everybody is who they say they is. See, I know what a sad person is. So, but yeah, these type of people that, they want to come and, bro, I already said it. I'm not debating because I'm living out what I'm doing. And if I'm wrong, right, the justice is the penalties and rewards I have for those ideas, decisions, and actions. And inactions. You see, it's things you're supposed to do that if you don't do it, you get a penalty for that too. See what I'm saying? It's things you don't supposed to do that if you don't do it, you get a reward. Like I know people that look, they was there when the people left, right? When the people left, they go do whatever they did, they got them all that time in jail. This person didn't go with them. He said, "You would like to know how I see Dr. Malachi Z. York as far as him publishing?" Well, I don't know if I can separate the child essay from 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 the publishing. For me personally, that's just the type of person I am, right? But when you say he published the problem book in the book of the 5%, well, I don't know nothing about him publishing the problem book. The book of the 5%. Does anybody have? Because I recall it being 2 errors on there. Let me see if I can Google the cover to said book. Seeing if they got any pictures of it. Okay, here it goes right here. So here's the cup. Oh no, this is not it. Let me see. There's one that I recall off top. See if I can see an image of it. Now I can't find an image of it. But here's the thing. Right? Here's the thing. Here's the thing up front. Right? Have you seen the book? What's your, who's asked this question again?
Okay. K Fan Izza.
Yeah, K. Who is it?
And it's an O or A.
K Phone Esau. Is that
Yeah.
is that why you asked that question? Because you is that Imam Esau? You did you slip that one past me? What is that? Yeah, I think this is Eric Carter. See how he taking a long time to respond? But look, for those are the people, right? On the cover of the book, right? It says that Allah's name is Jawaz. And if I'm not mistaken, it also said that he was born in 1929. Now you can't. Okay, so all right, so did you notice those errors? You know, and like I said, I understand you can't judge a book by its cover. But as you read through it, right? If you're a real 5%, see, first of all, even the terms that he's using, 5% hadith. And then how he got over here the real meaning. What do you mean by that? See, because we used to smash the insults. I'm talking about building. There was no part of that science that they could deal with the supreme mathematics. Bro, we undefeated. That's why everybody adapted it. No, Jawaz, saying his name is Jawaz is not a typo. Jawaz is not his name. And now I know you, Eric Carter. Get him out of here. Typos my ass. Hold on, I got you right here. I forgot I control this shit. Banned you and deleted your comments. Take that. Clown. Typos. You supposed to be God. You can levitate off the goddamn ground, but you making typos. You see how this bullshit? See, that's how I be saying, man. Motherfuckers be trying to slip some shit past you. Typos. I thought you could levitate. You see what happens when you go out here telling people all this mystical, magical shit? You see why I don't do that? Yeah, we had to run them up out. Listen, man, we turning over tables all the time, man, with them books, man. You know what I'm saying? We came here, we have, look, all over the groups, Forum, Third Avenue, they was in loud, that, you know. See, listen, man, this being, this is, and see, like when the brother's saying, yo, God, what Allah taught has never been more important than right now, G. It's never been more important than right now. You understand what I'm saying? The original ideas, you know what I'm saying? The purpose. See, Allah had big plans for us, man. When he said his baby's gonna be the greatest, man, what he left his 5% here to do, man, Allah had big plans for us, and it ain't none of that shit these niggas be talking about. That ain't even this. See, this is the time where the mythology starts coming in. We see now, look, it's just a handful of Mohicans left that walk with Allah. And sometimes that counts. You know, that counts. See, the things that people could come and say, and I'm talking about when you look at historically, right? Like how long after Jesus' return, right, did they start changing his teaching from freedom, justice, and equality to Christianity? How long after Elijah Muhammad returned, the motherfuckers started selling Dianetics? This is the time when the mythology will be born, right? If we don't keep in mind where we came from, we're not locked in. We worship in the past, and see, we don't need to because that's in the instructions that if you don't change, you're gonna die. But see, when we start to let that slip away, when the original purpose, what this came for, see what I'm saying? Like, you know how they got through, they say, yo, man, we used to be a dance crew. Now we one of the most deadliest gangs in LA. We used to be a football team. Now we one of the most deadliest gangs in wherever. You understand what I'm saying, G? When you lose that initial idea, man. You see what I'm saying? Because when you go from knowledge to born, how do that complete the cipher if you born something totally different than the idea? Whatever was made born is supposed to connect back to the idea from the jump. People, you said, I want to hear more of discussion about the video that was played at the beginning. Well, it probably could play when you came in because it wasn't the beginning. I mean, you pretty much had to, you know, do you have a question about the video? You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, we said what we said. We ain't beating a dead horse. Like I said, if we come in tune with the brother, you know what I'm saying, then, you know, we'll ask him more then. But, you know, at this point right now, he just said what he said. You know what I'm saying? But see, everything, this, you know, the main thing to me is, look, when you make public statements, right, you got to stand on them in public. Whatever, listen, if you get praise and you don't mind that coming in public, then you can't mind having to show and prove in public. See, that's like, look, look, this on another note, this is what I'm saying. One of the things, right, that we might cover on the City Sciences channel that's not for this channel, right? So you got a motherfucker like Dame Dash, right, who you name your company Rockefeller. Every deal that you got, you let everybody know how much money you got on that deal. You always talking about you a boss and the ownership and all this money, but then as soon as the narrative is not what you want to hear, right? When people say, yo, Dame is bankrupt, oh, now why they in your pockets? Nigga, you made your pockets the discussion. You made your pockets the discussion, but when you no longer control the narrative in a way, right, that was what you liked, right? Then all of a sudden, talking about your money was bad. But when people were saying how rich you was, see, that's people who can't understand no the same way they understand yeah. Back in the days, that was a science in the 5%, right? Because we all together, right? Everything we doing together. We go to the store, we go together. Yo, you ate some, boom, boom, whatever, right? So a person might ask you, yo, let me hold $2, whatever it might be, right? So I didn't want to hear the reason. I didn't want to hear the reason of why it was brought up. Yeah, you got to clarify that question, right? So let's say a person asks you for $2, right? If I say no, you still my brother. You not my brother no more. Now you pissed off with me because I said no. See, you supposed to accept the no the same way you accepted the yeah. How you know I had it? How you know what I'm saying, I didn't have, some priorities with that. And see, that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? Everybody likes, when people say, yeah, everything you said was peace. And then, when you say something that people say that's not peace, what then? I mean, it's not just Dame, it's lots of people. Look, it's women that make their looks. It's women that make their looks their whole public persona. Every post from you or movie or song or whatever is about how pretty you is, right? And then if somebody says that you got a blemish, they try to tear you down. No, you made this the topic of conversation. You know what I'm saying? Meaning like there's people who's famous and you never think about how much money they got. Like don't nobody wonder how much money Bud Crawford got because that's not a part of his whole public persona. But if we hear Floyd Mayweather went bankrupt, yeah, you started that conversation. But what's the hour, man? See, man, y'all done had me on here all late. I still gotta put my food on. I still gotta put my food on. Fortunately,
I appreciate you calling me on, God. It was an honor to be here, man. Get a
all
little
right,
bit
no
of
doubt,
history, man.
peace, black man. You know what I'm
Peace.
saying? But so yeah, we up in the times right now. You know what I'm saying? We had uh, a good show here and everything. You know what I'm saying? We covered a couple topics. We got some other topics that we get ready to cover. You know what I'm saying? I got some big. I'll be brainstorming now. I actually got an app. I got an app now that helps me to brainstorm ideas. You know what I'm saying? So, one of the next ones that we going to come with is if I would have known what that brother said, I would have left it for that. You know what I'm saying? But I want to do a video, addressing, young people that's coming into the knowledge, right? And uh, whether or not what they want to break away from traditions. You see what I'm saying? Because we had a lot of traditions that just had a lot of responsibility to it. You understand what I'm saying? And to me, that's what it seems like. It's a little bit less responsibility. You know what I'm saying, in terms of what you the source of. You know what I'm saying? Wise Prince question about a cultural dish his daughter was inquiring about. What was the cultural dish? What are you talking about? So what was our cultural dish? Uh, I would say our cultural thing is barbecuing on the grill. Like that's one thing I can say. I've been almost everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to Philly, you grilling. Go to DC, grilling. Medina, grilling. Law school, grilling. You know what I'm saying? And we had a lot of grill masters. You know what I'm saying? Law Real. Uh, oh man, what's the guy name that used to drive the bus from the head of Medina? Uh, should be on the grill all the time. I think of it, man. You know what I'm saying? Umala. Uh, so and then yours truly, I'm the new grill master. I don't know if you asked around. You know what I'm saying? I'm the I'm the new master. You know what I'm saying? But anytime you go to the family days, you know what I'm saying, and those types of things, uh, that would be, I would say, the most universal, what's the name? The most universal kind of foods that we eat. You said, what about Justice's Navy bean soup? What Justice? I don't know too much about Navy bean. That's NY. You know, I mean, yeah, we get the bean pies, but and then see that too, man. See, that core of women, right? That's another thing. You know, when I first got the knowledge, the earth used to cook at the rally. You know what I'm saying? Like when you used to come in those days, you know what I'm saying? If you was under, like you was 16 and under, right? Then you used to go and eat. We used to go and they used to let you eat first. You know what I'm saying? Like they be building at the rally, they be like, yo, you know, all the babies go in the auditorium, go in the cafeteria and eat first. You know what I'm saying? So if it was something, uh, you know, if it was something else besides that, it would have been something that they was making. But, you know, those women, you know, Cypher and Agent Me, a lot of them, they not around no more. You know what I'm saying? The Mother Civilization and the Earth Committee and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So in this day and time, it's mostly men that you see cooking. You know, it's absolutely, you know, queens that be cooking. You know, Carol, you know, she's one of my people that, you know, I could tap, she'd make some food, you know what I'm saying, embrace. But, you know, that's one of the reasons why I got, because they all make different stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I guess you could say there's there's definitely some people with some signature dishes. You know, I don't know if we have, you know, one dish, but you know, you got Jasheen that fries the fish at the events. You know what I'm saying? You know, Harmony Equality, she hates men. That's what happened to her. She look one day she she apparently you I think you call her the Tiger Nut lady on social media or something, and then she just got mad at me. I was like, I wasn't even involved. Like how I get involved with that? But yeah, she's been tagging me since then, but she hit me up. She's adding on with, you know, the stuff that we doing for the babies. The stuff that we doing for the babies for Halloween and all that. She's adding on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's our sister, man, you know. But yeah, she don't see, she doesn't like, you know, she doesn't like that, you know, we operate, you know, on a level, right? Uh, you know, without having to take instructions from them. She said YouTube is a bad influence. Yeah, that's what she said. See, I'm a bad influence. You understand what I'm saying? See, when I was a kid, right, there was something called male bonding. And the way the psychologists were saying at that time that the therapeutic mental therapy, they were saying that that was something that was necessary. You know what I'm saying? That the coming of age kind of rituals and all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? And you know, to this day I still kind of think that see brothers now, they coming of age rituals is going to jail. I was he born. Uh, yeah, I think I spoke to him one time. I don't know if I know him all the way like that. she on point. She got she. But look, this is why you see y'all this I only got 4.4% female viewership. But at any rate, in a way though, it's good that we went a little bit longer today because tomorrow doesn't look good. Tomorrow doesn't look good because uh, the guy born supreme, you know what I'm saying? He got his memorial. He got his memorial out there tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be headed over to Parkside in the evening time. You know what I'm saying? So I doubt, right now it doesn't look good for a live stream tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see what we can do about Wednesday. Thursday, of course, is Suyez. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you know, uh, so we'll see. Maybe Wednesday, maybe Friday, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We'll get back together. But yeah, that's definitely one I gotta make. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Smith family. I was up there at Bernice's celebration of life yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I was over there with the King Universal. Me and him grew up together. A-Law's son, Law's nephew. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there's that part. You know what I'm saying? But, anybody that made it this far, you know what I mean? Hopefully, y'all go ahead, hit that subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? The like button and all that. What's her name? Queen Know Her. Look, this is my regular ritual. I ask people to hit the like button at the end of the at the end of the live stream. Hopefully, I haven't compromised all my teaching by saying that. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, between time, I'm gonna sign off and say peace. You know what I'm saying? And look, I'm gonna tell you another thing in this app that I got. Right? It breaks the videos up. Like I just press the button and it turns the videos. It turns this video into short chunks. So we may do that. We may take this one down, right? We may take this one down and then chop it up. Or maybe we'll leave it up and then chop it up. We'll see how it works. But in the meantime, between time, I'm going to sign off and say peace.